So, good morning, everyone. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the 6th Zagreb Crowdfunding Convention. I hope you're all well, feeling good, ready to learn and to get inspired. Outside, I think it's a beautiful sunny autumn day. For those who are not from Zagreb, I hope you will have enough time for a short enjoyment and sightseeing of the town after today's working part of the day. So on the agenda, we have a lot of things prepared for you. We have numerous experts in the field of crowdfunding and everything that involves and includes crowdfunding. So on today's agenda, we have national and international campaigns, how to get inspired, what are the challenges in the field of crowdfunding and finance, and so much more awaits for you today. Now it is time for me to introduce us, people who will give their best that everything goes smoothly today. I would like you to meet Nevio, Mario, Luca, Ivan, and Filip. These are the guys, so please give a warm welcome to them. They are our technicians, so they are going to be in charge that everything goes very good. Of course, also there is Anna. Anna, please wave. Anna will be in charge of the microphone, so when you're going to ask some questions, you're going to look for her. And of course, there is also Mirela. She will be our moderator for today. And my name is Wendy. Now the time has come for me to finally present to you people who made it possible for us to be here today. So please give a warm welcome to the guys from Brodotto, Petra and Branimir.
Good morning, everyone. We are running slightly behind the schedule, so I will keep it short. We've been supporting the crowdfunding topic since 2015, since the first crowdfunding academy. A lot of people who were involved then in the first academy have been with us in the last, what is it, 7 years. And we wanted to move in the same direction. So I want to thank especially the US Embassy in Croatia for supporting the event. Mr. Giblin and Vanja Ratković, who's been super friendly and supportive in the last few months in the preparation of the event. A special thank you to the keynote speakers and the panelists. The keynote speakers traveled more from the States and, from Slovenia, but he travels all around the globe, so it's not just coming from Ljubljana last night. Special thank you to the panelists. Your time is really valuable because we really want to provide a platform for everybody and anybody who is interested in the topic to be able to ask questions. They can be as simple as, what is crowdfunding? Happy to see that. And yes, without further ado, I will pass the torch.
Thank you. Thank you, Petra. Now I would like to give a warm welcome to Frane Šesnić, director of ZICER, who made it possible for us to be in this very inspirational place. So thank you very much, and the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Zagreb Innovation Center, ZICER. So we are really glad that we will have opportunity today with you to share the experience regarding the crowdfunding. We have a lot of startups here that already experienced that kind of funding, and I hope we will share it all together and create new ideas for the future. A special thank to US Embassy and organizers Brodotto for this event, and have a nice day in ZICER. Thank you.
Thank you, Frane. After Frane, the time has come for me to invite a person who also made it possible for us to be here today. This person believes that a good and quality product can grow from a small idea only if you believe in it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Drew Giblin, Acting Deputy Chief of Mission of US Embassy, Croatia.
I think I've got a really cool startup headgear. Yes, it works. Hvala. Ja ću probati da počnem, am I working? Ja ću probati da počnem sa nešto na vašem jeziku od celog našeg tima u ambasadi. Hvala. Hvala za partnerstvo. Hvala Brodotto i ZICER i svima. Hvala za vašu energiju inovaciju ovdje u Hrvatskoj. Mi volimo startup scenu ovdje u vašoj zemlji i mi radimo svaki dan sa ljudima, mrežama i kroz zemlju. I think everyone's English is better than my Croatian, so I'm going to continue in my native language. But I really did want to say we appreciate the partnership. Frane, Vedran, and Petra, the whole team, Vanya and I work with organizations like these throughout Croatia, very much on purpose, and it's a powerful, dynamic place. But we're here to help support your success. And I wanted to come today to share a little bit of why. And so I would start with a line that you'll hear me say a lot if you meet me after serving here for about 2 years. And that is that startup culture, entrepreneurship, innovation, those things, they're not just good for business, it's really a shared value between the United States and Croatia. We believe that, we see that. And in today's day and age, it's really important that we work together as partner countries, as partner communities. And so it's really exciting to see when we talk about success and the things that we value as people and as countries, a lot of times you can see it just so exemplified in the success of innovation startups and folks who are chasing crowdfunding and the resources they need to build small businesses independently and strongly. So I also want to say thank you to Chandler, coming all the way from the United States with what to fund kind of ideas and expertise. A big part of what we try to accomplish at the U.S. Embassy is building bridges between the United States and Croatia in any number of fields, this one being a really important one. We've seen a lot of energy and action in the field, but thank you, Chandler, for coming across the Atlantic. And this is just the beginning. When folks come, it's the conversations that happen afterwards that are so much even more important than what you're going to hear today. So please do build those relationships and make ties with him. So for us here, we support programming. It's not just a rhetorical relationship with you when it comes to innovation in the startup scene. We've worked with young people for a long time. Vanya, for my team, has been in this for longer than I have, with training programs that we can help young people who say, hey, I want to build something, but how do I do it? What are 21st century resources out there? What are the networks like yours that can help me accomplish that? And the coolest thing for us from the embassy is we've seen programs, we had young people participate, come out of that, build their own firm and get venture capital for real, which is huge and really an exciting way to see progress. So we'll keep doing that. I think Albert Geishik might be here later on today. He's actually headed to a program in the United States focused on young leaders in innovation, telling the Circuit Mess story. One of many examples, but he's really an exceptional guy and has a story to tell as well. So I don't want to take any more time from the action and what's going on here today, but what I would close with is again, a thank you for what you're doing, for the dynamism you bring to the European and the transatlantic marketplace. If there's ever a time that you think that there's a connection in the United States that really would help in the community, come to the embassy. You can find us online. You can find us on social media. We're open to ideas for partnership, and there are always synergies we can chase after together. Dakle, hvala lijepa, vidimo se uskoro, čestitam I uživajte program danas. I know it's going to be really useful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. You are very nice and your energy is really fantastic. So thank you, of course, to all our hosts. Thank you for our sponsors and those who made it possible for us to be here in Zagreb. Thank you, of course, all of you for coming, and thank you for everyone watching us online. Now I would like you, before we start, I would like you to check if you did silence your mobile devices. As for asking the questions to the keynote speakers or panelists, you can certainly do so after their presentations, so feel free to ask anything that comes to your mind. But please, guys, just be aware of the time limitations. So be open, don't be shy, and let's get down to business. Now, I have a pleasure to present to you our first speaker. Chandler Copenhaver is a consultant, entrepreneur, and crowdfunding expert who's worked with over 2 2,000 creators over the past 8 years. By day, he works to help grow the crowdfunding world. Most recently, BackerKit's successful acquisition of CrowdOx now serves creators with the premier pledge management and advertising services as senior account manager for BackerKit. By night, Chandler's private coaching and consulting firm What to Fund has helped projects raise over $23 million across more than 60 campaigns. So, Chandler, please come here. The floor and the microphone is yours, and enjoy yourself. You have this one. Oh, and you can maybe have...
Yeah, maybe I'll walk around a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Chandler Copenhaver. I am really excited to be here today, and this is my first time to Croatia, and so I'm really excited to meet many of you. I just arrived yesterday, and so I still have not had much chance to see your beautiful countryside, but I'll definitely be doing that over the next few days, so I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the opportunity to work with you all, be here, and I have I think you can push the buttons here. He told me shift.
Do you know?
Shift. Got it. Okay, cool. Just getting it all set up. So a little bit of background or history on myself really quick. I think it might help kind of set some context a little bit. So I've been working in this crowdfunding industry for the last about 8 years. So did a little picture here of the family. So I live currently in Utah in the United States, a place called Ogden, Utah. And I currently work with, as she mentioned, I currently am working for a company called BackerKit. But before I dive into everything that I'm doing now, just a quick background on what it is that I've done and why I'm even in this industry. So when I was in the university, I was working originally I thought, I just want to do business. I want to get my business degree, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I had a history of little startups, just mowing lawns and shoveling snow and things like this when I was a young boy, and so I decided that I wanted to. I found a lot of interest in entrepreneurship, and our university at that time decided to introduce a new entrepreneurship program, and this seemed like a great opportunity to to learn and kind of develop, and so what was really exciting is that they had entrepreneurs come and teach us entrepreneurship instead of a professor. Not that that's bad, but that sometimes it's nice to hear from somebody who has actually done it, who has gone through that process, who has worked in a particular field. And so, long story short, I worked with a couple of startups and had the opportunity to do one startup that was failing. It was not doing well. As many startups are, it's very risky. It's hard to get going. I was helping to grow this company, but we lost part of this business was knocking on doors and going door to door to get surveys for leads. In this process, knocked on a few doors and found that I met someone who happened to be doing this crowdfunding thing, and I was familiar because I had backed a campaign. The Pebble watch might be a familiar product that was created. And so anyway, I started out just door to door connecting with people, and the relationship from that relationship, I was able to start learning more about how crowdfunding is helping just regular individuals who have an idea to create something and eventually create a business and help people. I put on the thing here a couple of companies. It was mentioned in the introduction. I've kind of had a long history with multiple different companies, my own company as well as some other companies, in helping support crowdfunding. what is crowdfunding? Maybe some people here maybe don't know exactly what that is. Those of you that do know what that is, I kind of want to go a little bit into that and kind of go through a bunch of different things there. So I might even return back to the slide a little bit later, but this is my credentials here. This is a Kickstarter page. It's not really credentials, but I have spent way too much money on Kickstarter. This is what I'm showing you now. So I have backed, I started out as a backer, as a consumer that wanted to be involved with cool new products. So back in 2012 is when this Pebble watch first started. You can see I'm almost to 1,000 projects, which is not a good thing. It just means I've spent a lot of money is all that means. But it means that as a consumer, as someone who is interested in new products, I was really interested in being involved. I didn't want to just buy something like online, just purchase a product. Crowdfunding also provides a really interesting opportunity for you to sort of be emotionally invested in the development of a product. And so it's sort of a silly thing, but I backed so many campaigns. Some of what I'm wearing today, my shoes, my watch, a few of my backpack that I have are crowdfunded items. And it's sort of exciting to know that there are things that are made in the real world that were made by somebody who just had an idea. And they didn't have to go to, they didn't have to forfeit their house or something like this, but they were able to gather a community. Think we're okay? That wasn't me. I didn't do it. So, so in the crowdfunding space, there's an interesting thing where if I have an idea, maybe I want to make some cool new shoes, something a little bit different, a watch that is a little bit different than other watches. It can be such a simple idea that any idea that you can think of can be used to create, and then you can actually sell these items to people. It's interesting. I'm going to skip ahead for a moment. Maybe it's not even in here. I didn't make it. I tried creating a new slide, and maybe it didn't make it in here. When I visited a bookstore just as I arrived last night. I visited a bookstore just next to the hotel that I was staying at. And when I went in the bookstore, I was just looking for something maybe to bring back for my children. I have, as you saw, I see a couple children. And I actually found a book that was started on Kickstarter. It raised actually a lot of money. It's called Rebel Girls. I had a picture. It's in Croatian, but the book has been it was created, maybe 4 years ago. And now it's actually sitting in a bookstore translated here in your country. It was sort of a surprise to me that had happened, but also not really a surprise because all of us as entrepreneurs or people that have a dream, we want to get our ideas out there. And it's really exciting to know that after even just a couple of years, that a product that was created from just an idea could make it in the hands of other people. I'm going to actually try really quick to see if I can get that because, so bear with me just one moment. Okay, there it is. Let's do this again. Right. Perfect. And slideshow. Okay. So last night I had a couple of ideas, or this morning I had a couple of ideas, so I added a few extra things. So this here is the book that I was referring to on the right. It's a really great book. I have it in English. I was a backer on the Kickstarter campaign. It's very supportive of young women. I have 2 daughters, and so it was a really great thing to see that it was translated and was available in a regular bookstore here in Croatia. So that's really a testament of how powerful crowdfunding can be. Not only was this a great product that probably helped them make some money, but it has a message as well. And that was really a cool thing that I really enjoyed. Also, last week, the week before I came here, I was in Germany for the Essensspiel, which is the board game convention. So I work quite heavily with creators of games, of board games. And this has 100,000 people or something like this attend every year. I think it's the largest the largest board game event in the world. And while I was there on this side here, I happened to meet, remind me her name again, Niko. Nika, yeah. Niko and Nika, yeah. So Nika made this board game called Hike, and I actually met her in a boot camp that Niko, who's going to be running, speaking later on today, but he ran a boot camp, and I met her in this boot camp. I spoke just like now in this boot camp. But I was able to meet her, and she was then selling her game at this convention. So really exciting to see, how it's not just ideas, right? Ideas are great, but those ideas can become reality, and crowdfunding is a really important part of that in our modern world. These are this is just an exciting thing. We talked a little bit about it now. I personally work with many creators, but I do so in a couple of different ways. I currently work as a member of the company BackerKit, and there's a long history there. Maybe later we can talk a little bit about how it's all come to be. But this is a really exciting one for me. I was able to work with this company here. They create films. And this is a film that they have a YouTube channel, they have a community of people, and they created a film. And this Balin's Route was the film that they were able to get funded through Kickstarter, through crowdfunding. But on this campaign, they decided, I want to do it again. I want to this time go bigger. I want to do more. And we were able to work together and saw a great success on this campaign. This most recent one, raising $2.5 million. But this is why it's really exciting, is because not all campaigns are starting out as a massive success from the beginning. Some start out quite simply with a small board game. She will probably make another board game in the future. It's a slow process sometimes, but it is a process that is so much easier now than it ever has been before for you to take your idea and make it a reality. So I want to show, these are just a couple of other campaigns. This one I worked with, you see board games are going to be a theme. I work a lot with the board games, but I work with campaigns of all kinds. This one's a really unique board game shelving system. It was an idea that he had because, well, the shelves that were available didn't work or for whatever reason. And so my buddy Dan and I were able to launch this on Kickstarter, and even during Christmas, we launched it during the holiday. Everyone says this is not a good idea. We did it anyway, and we were quite successful with it. So I want to take a step back for a minute, just thinking about entrepreneurship, about crowdfunding. I recently have become extremely fascinated with, Elon Musk is launching things into space. We're going to go to Mars. There's lots of discussion around these things. And it's been an interesting thought that I've been thinking about the process for all of us to, I flew here on a plane, right? It was like 12 hours, but it's, still was like fast if you think about. It used to be by boat, right? It used to be very slow, very hard to get places. And so I want to talk a little about this pilot framework, which I think is a really interesting concept. Right now, it's very safe to fly. I get on a plane, you get on planes, we fly all over the world without really thinking about it very much. But not very long ago, it was pretty dangerous to fly, right? You think about it, the people that were taking the first risks to launch, a hot air balloon or an airplane, this wasn't very long ago. This was about 100 years, right? 100 years between now and where we are today. There's me yesterday, right? And then it's pretty amazing to think that we start out with a drawing, right? An idea. Leonardo da Vinci started out with some ideas of how we could eventually maybe fly. We could create flying machines. And started out as a prototype, right, which is a very important part of the crowdfunding process. And that prototype eventually became to a place where they were able to execute. They were, trying new things. Let's add a different wing here. Let's add a propeller. Let's run and push, right? Like they're just thinking of new ways to make it possible to fly. But now, we don't really think about it, right? We don't really have to think. All of us can get on a plane. In fact, I think all of us here would fit in a plane, and we could take off. Maybe we'll go to Hawaii or something like that, go to somewhere nice. We can do that very easily, and it doesn't require much effort. And that's because we have the pilot framework. There is a number of steps. The pilots go and they check the boxes. Okay, we've checked this, we've done this. We've done each of the things that are necessary in order for me to have a successful flight. Well, you and I don't even have to think about that. We just get on the plane and it goes. But there is a checklist that is happening. The same thing is true for someone who runs a crowdfunding campaign. Someone who they have an idea, right? They start out this idea maybe at a coffee shop, with a pencil and paper or on a napkin, right? And this idea starts out so simple. Hopefully it doesn't take, 600 years like this in this case. I don't think it will, but this is where they all start. Our ideas start, in our minds. Then we talk it out, we explain it to somebody, then we write it down. It goes through a number of steps through a process. Now that can change a little bit, but there are some things that are very, very important in that process, especially as crowdfunding has matured to a place where, there's only one way to, get that plane in the air and be able to land it safely at your destination. And in the same way, there are some things that are really important that we all do in order to create a new business, in order to create a new product. And so eventually, of course, with the objective of, living in spacesuits our whole life. That doesn't sound very comfortable. But eventually, we are in a place where those innovations that happened so long ago have gotten us to a place where now it's very easy. Eventually it'll be, eventually I will be able to fly here to Croatia and visit you again, but it will be on the Virgin Airlines. Maybe it takes only an hour from where I live, right? And that change is not very far away, I think. We will see this in our lifetime to be able to take these flights within the next few years. It's pretty amazing how quickly now things are changing, and that's because we are following a framework. I just added in here, it's a great movie, a very American movie, but once you understand the framework, once you understand how to do things, you work with, you're able to then do the tricks. You're then able to use those rules and bend them a little bit or make some changes and to become more skilled at creating a business or doing these things. The question is, of course, how do I know that framework? How do I figure out those steps? It's a hard thing, especially if you don't know much. Maybe you did not go to business school. Maybe you studied culinary arts and you work in a restaurant. But while you're cooking and cleaning dishes and doing this, maybe you start thinking of ideas. When I was young, maybe like 18, 19, I started. It was about 18 years old. I was cleaning. I was the dishwasher, right? My job was to clean the dishes. I wanted to do the cooking, but they said, no, you're just the young kid, you go clean the dishes. And so, of course, you do the hard labor. But this was actually a great job for me at the time because I was able to listen to audiobooks. I was able to think and just have an open mind and just have ideas. And so don't be afraid of these kinds of things. It's okay to be working a regular job. It's okay to be doing it. You don't have to sell your house and, live in a sleeping bag on the floor in order to live your dream. Of course, sometimes you do, but it's not what's required. You can be living your normal life and have a little side hustle, right? In the evenings, maybe in the mornings, you get some things done so that you can start working on your new idea. These are some of the platforms as of today that allow for crowdfunding and that have allowed us to change. It used to be, if I wanted to create this board game or this book or maybe this watch or these shoes or some item, I would probably have to go and get a substantial loan in order to make this possible. And maybe I'm not able to get a loan. Maybe I don't have the ability to do this easily. And so it was very difficult to go and manufacture a product. And maybe you go and borrow money from your friends and family, and then they do not like you anymore because of all the drama there. So crowdfunding has allowed for a really exciting new way for us to find people who are interested, and then for them to pay us money so that we can go and produce a product. It's a really exciting thing. Going to the framework quickly, I probably won't have enough time to cover each of these items. I kind of liked making it a fun little, keeping the letter P the whole time, right? Passion, prototype, partners. Just a little play on that. But there's a process for us to create these ideas. There's a process for us to be able to take something that is just an idea in my head to eventually have something that actually works, something that actually I can show somebody, and then eventually something I can sell. I think it's a really exciting thing, but again, it's kind of difficult to figure it all out on your own, especially if you've never done it. And so that's why it's so great to be here with a group of people who are interested in this together. Maybe you share ideas, Brodotto and Niko's company, and all the different groups that are helping creators, helping you and I have ideas so that we can take that idea and actually make it into something great. At another time, like I said, we can go through this together. I'm just checking how much time I even have. 5 more minutes, great. A couple of things that are super important, though, for this framework. This is what I was saying at the beginning. As a backer, as if I have a new product, I'm interested in a new product, the most important thing that I need to spend time doing is start building a community, people who are interested. This might just be consumers, this might be partners, this might be companies that you are working with or hiring, or this might even be a partner that you might work together to create this idea. Maybe you are very creative, maybe you're good at writing, but you don't have a lot of business expertise, or maybe you know how to make shoes, I don't, but maybe you find somebody else that knows how to do the things that maybe you don't know how to do. I think it's an extremely important thing to start this very early. I speak to many people who tell me, I've been working on this idea for 14 years. I was like, wow, that's a long time to be working on it. If you start to look for help, if you start to look for those who can support you, you might turn that 14 years into 4 years or into 4 months and be able to speed things up. I think it's really important that we are focused on what we love. Steve Jobs actually is known, he has a quote for saying this, do what you love. And I think it is such an important thing. I've experienced this myself. I have more ideas than I can do. I don't know if that's like you, but I have maybe one idea per day or per hour, right? Like you might have ideas more than you can even do. That's great, But remember that we can't do them all anyway. And so selecting something that you love, something you're passionate about, something that you think might make a difference in the world or help people, something that maybe a passion you have, lean into your passions, lean into your to the things that you love, because otherwise life gets hard, right? Running a business is very hard. It can be very challenging. If you love the thing that you do, the thing that you make, it makes this so much easier, and I think that you'll be more successful as you continue working on these ideas that you have. In the same way that we talked about the framework, I'll just zip back here. See that I have the planets all scattered about, right? In order to have a successful crowdfunding campaign, you have to have some of all of these elements, right? It's the framework. In order to get the plane to lift, I have to get a check mark on each of these boxes, right? There are a lot of boxes to check. There's probably more than even I've put on here, of course. But in order for you to be successful, to get something funded in a crowdfunding campaign, you do need to check some of these boxes, and you do need to get these things to all align. I don't think this ever happens in the real world, right? I don't know. If it did, it'd be very dark on planet Earth. But you do need all of these things to come together so that you can be successful. And so, if you have a dream, if you have something that you really love, this passion that you are so excited about, that you want to share with the world, you can keep it in your mind. But don't be so worried about, the idea being stolen or taken. Just like the world, just like we were talking about, there's so many ideas, there's too many for us to even do, that you need to bring people together. This is a big part of even being at something like the Crowdfunding Academy, working with a consultant or working with other companies. Some of the best and most exciting projects that I've ever worked on were a combination of many different ideas or many different companies coming together. But again, just so important that we do consider that you really love what you are working on. The idea, not to make a quick, some money, like making quick money quickly, that will fizzle out. Eventually, you will get burned out if that is the foundation of this new idea. But if you truly love the thing that you are doing, and if you're excited about sharing that with the world, then work hard at it. Take the time that it needs. Be patient. It takes a long time sometimes. It takes multiple years even to get something started. But I strongly recommend that you look for a mentor. You look for someone to help with you. And I'm so excited to speak with all of you the rest of today and while I'm here to learn about some of the things that you're making. This is a passion that I have. So this is why I've been doing this for so many years. It's something that I absolutely love, to help others to realize their goals and their dreams. And I'm really excited to get to know more of you about this. And I'm so grateful to be here. And thanks for everyone that allowed me to come today.
Chandler, thank you very much. You were absolutely inspirational, and I think we will all remember this mantra, do what you love. Please just stay here for a while, Chandler, because I don't know, do we have any questions from the audience or maybe from our online streamers? You can write your questions in the comment section. So do we have some questions for Chandler now, or are you all going to wait for the lunch break? Petra, you have? Okay, I will come to you.
We still have some time because you started late, so I don't want to take up your time. Yeah. So you mentioned that you support teams or individuals who start thinking about their crowdfunding campaigns or the campaign itself. Can you maybe give a piece of advice in terms of length? What's an ideal amount of time for a person to purposefully prepare a good campaign. I'm asking this because this is one of the biggest obstacles that we as service providers have in Croatia, because people want to prepare campaigns very soon and very fast in terms of a month or 2 months or 3 months. And you mentioned building the community, which I think is a quintessential first step. So what would you say if somebody has, and how does this process look to you? Do you analyze their product, their service? Do you look for similar other products, or you don't at all? Because you said, do whatever you want to do, regardless of if somebody else is also making shoes made of whatever, you know, just follow your dream. So how much time ideally goes into each campaign? And whatever you can say on this topic. Thank you.
Now you have the time for me walking towards you to come up with the answer. I'm not going to run to give you enough time. So there you go.
So this is a really good question and important. It does vary for every project, but many of us have a desire to just do it immediately, to do it quickly. And part of this is because maybe, you know, the fire will die, right? You do have to keep the fire alive, so doing something quickly is important. But because of how crowdfunding is now today, most projects launch pretty well created. What I mean by this is, let's say, for example, that I was going to, just since I'm wearing it, I was going to create a watch, and I have a new idea of how to make a unique watch. This one here looks like a sundial. It looks like, you know, has Roman numbers around it, kind of a unique design. Maybe I start out, you know, drawing it on paper, and then from that point until when I launch my campaign, it depends on how quickly you are working, how many people you are working with. On average, though, between 3 to 6 months is a very normal preparation time. It takes quite a while to not only prepare a functional prototype, something that would look good, I can take pictures, because if you only share the drawings you have of your idea to the world, it's going to be very difficult to be successful. You need to be able to show something that functions, something that looks good. I once worked with a creator. He wanted to make, it's kind of a funny story. He wanted to make a water bottle that had no plastics, right? This was about 45 years ago. A water bottle, 0 plastics, even in the working parts or the inside. And the only way for him to be able to get this water bottle that he wanted using medical grade steel and this kind of thing was for him to, you know, he went to the manufacturer. They said, you have to make at least 2,000 units, a mold, in order to produce this. So because he wanted to use it just for himself, he only wanted one, right? He wanted just one for himself, but he launched a crowdfunding campaign. His campaign was it failed because he had renderings and 3D printings, and you couldn't create a vision in your mind for what this product would be. So he then took 6 more months. He made a prototype, still 3D printed, but much prettier, you know, flashy metal, and it looked real. And he spent a lot more time making the graphics look good, the video looked great, and with all of the extra time that he put in, he was able to successfully fund this project. In fact, raise more than he needed. I think around $70,000, and it was a success for him. But it's, to your point, it's something that's very difficult to rush, because these ideas, they need to look good for the community that you are working with, and also building a community takes time. You can't just call up your mom and your dad and your brothers and family and all of your friends and hope that they will pledge. It's not enough. You need to find people that are interested in what you're making, and then, you know, you need emails. This is a really important thing. This, right, as of today, the most important way of building a community is an email list of people, because this is the fastest way for you to talk with them. Facebook groups are also good. You know, there are other ways to do it, but all of them they are not direct. So this is why email is one of the best ways to build your community. Did I answer your question?
Thank you, Chandler. Do we have any more questions? Maybe from the YouTube section, comment section? No? Okay, Chandler, you can go now. And thank you very much for flying us, letting us fly with you through your crowdfunding experience. The thing I will remember you saying is to work hard and be patient. I think that we all have to really stick to that. So right now I'm going to skip on Croatian. Tako da, evo, sad ću se samo malo prešaltati, znači idemo kao sada na hrvatski. Dakle, da, vrijedno raditi, biti strpljiv i evo ga, ovim putem imam čast pozvati Mirelu Đafić, našu moderatoricu prvog panela. A zašto kažem vrijedno raditi i biti strpljiv? Jer u sve to mislim da nam je jako važno imati vjeru u naš proizvod. A naši sljedeći panelisti, vjerujem da su itekako imali vjeru u ono što su i radili i htjeli postići sa svojim kampanjama. Tako da sada će nam se pridružiti Sanja Ljubičić, GIRI Game, Mladen Herceg, Make it Easy, a gospodin Vedran Habel i gospođa Silvija Habel će nam se priključiti online.
Naravno želim i vama online kojim ste nam se pridružili, isto tako i naši pratitelji, vama isto želim dobar dan. Vedran i Silvija Habel su nam kao što je Vendi već rekla na streamu. Tu su mi se pridružili Sanja Ljubičić i Mladen Herceg. Ok, ja sam mislila krenuti... Ću ga ja ovako držati u ruci, može?
Ili samo ga namjestiti.
Malo
se zamijesti s njega.
Dobar dat.
Ok, sad se sjedi. Sad radi.
Da. Dobro, sad kad smo ovo sve prošli, idemo ovako. Kao što smo čuli, sada ćemo čuti crowdfunding priče iz Hrvatske i to jako uspješne, koje su se odvile na 3 različite platforme. Moji sugovornici danas će nam otkriti kako im je bilo na tom putu, kakvi su bili izazovi, jesu li izgubili kakve prijatelje, ali to je tako, negdje gubiš, negdje dobiš, tako da. Mislila sam prvo krenuti sa kampanjom koja je zapravo u tijeku i za koju možete i vi donirati, ali evo, naravno u pauzi, sad nas slušajte pozorno. Tu je dakle Vedran i Silvija su nam vezani za tu kampanju. Dakle, Vedran Habel je osnivač i predsjednik udruge UNUO, to je udruga najosjetljivijih u osposobljavanju. Evo, Vedrane, možemo li onda čuti više o aktualnoj kampanji kojom želite gastro natjecanje koje se evo baš provelo ovaj tjedan, natjecanje za osobe s invaliditetom Cupid Spoon, odnosno Amorova žlica, kojom želite dakle podignuti na internacionalnu razinu tu kampanju, pa evo, možemo li čuti kako to mislite napraviti uz pomoć ove crowdfunding kampanje?
Hvala lijepo što ste nas pozvali i što ste nas ugostili. Moje pitanje je prvo, da li pričam na hrvatskom ili na engleskom?
Na hrvatskom.
Odlično, super, onda mi je lakše. Evo ga, udruga je osnovana 2009. godine i kroz dugi niz godina vidjeli smo što treba napraviti, znači edukacija osoba s invaliditetom, edukacija znači gospodarstvenika, građanstva, vlasti, svih ostalih, da bi se uključile znači osobe s invaliditetom u redovni obrazovni sustav, ali i na tržište rada. I onda smo krenuli sa Amorovom žlicom 2021. godine, jer sam vidio da se jako malo uključuju osobe. I onda smo rekli, ajmo se vratiti u onome čemu u biti postojimo, a to je znači da je osoba ključ cijele priče, a ne mi, mentori, osnivači ili bilo ko drugi. Mi smo tu samo nekakva spona. I kroz to natjecanje 2021. godine uključili smo 51 instituciju na razini RH i odaziv je bio fantastičan i ono što je i lijepo, ali i poražavajuće. Lijepo je vidjeti osmijeh tih svih ljudi. Znači, sve jedan natjecatelji su bili ekstremno sretni, a poražavajuće je bilo to što 90% njih ili i više, i možda čak i 100% njih su rekli da im je ovo prvi put da su oni bili u centru pažnje i da su oni napokon doživljeni u pravom smislu, znači kao ljudi kako bi to trebali biti. Što je nama onda još reklo da tek onda moramo poraditi na toj priči, pa smo onda ove godine odradili ponovo Amorovu žlicu i sada smo na putu znači za Rim, gdje naše pobjednike vodimo u Rim. Sutra imamo audijenciju kod Svetoga Oca. Osim znači toga oni su dobili i nagrade, znači zlatnu, srebrnu i brončanu Amorovu žlicu i ove godine smo Amorovu žlicu proširili i na Bosnu i Hercegovinu, bili smo u Livnu da vidimo kako ćemo mi to odraditi izvan naše domovine. Ono što je bilo opet i lijepo, ali isto tako i poražavajuće je to da kad smo došli tamo i kad smo vidjeli ljude koliko nisu uključeni znači u svakodnevne tijekove života, već po završetku svog školovanja nakon 21. godine života oni su praktički ovisne samo o sebi ili eventualno nekoj udruzi koja egzistira od prvog do prvoga. Sa jedne strane imamo pa ja bih rekao negdje oko 80% ljudi koji su došli na natjecanje koji mogu biti radno aktivni. A ti ljudi koji bi mogli biti radno aktivni nisu radno aktivni, već po završetku školovanja oni su kod kuće i onda sredstva koja bi možda se mogla država financirati, znači za osobe s invaliditetom, za one koji ne mogu biti radno aktivni se praktički razvodne. I na kraju ne dobijemo apsolutno ništa. Niti imamo radno aktivne ljude, niti imamo osobe s invaliditetom koji ne mogu biti radno aktivni da imaju svu pažnju koja im se treba pružiti. I sad smo odlučili da ćemo proširiti ovu našu priču na razini Europske unije, da pokažemo znači i Europi, ali i cijelome svijetu na koji način mi vidimo uključivanje osoba s invaliditetom i sljedeće godine u 2. mjesecu krećemo na putovanje koje će biti od 2. mjeseca do 8. mjeseca obišli bi 27 država članica Europske unije i u svakoj državi ćemo odraditi natjecanje za osobe s invaliditetom i svake države najbolje kuhare i najbolje barmene ćemo ugostiti u Hrvatskoj i krajem sljedeće godine u 10. mjesecu, krajem 9. početak 10. mjeseca ćemo imati finale i s time želimo poslati poruku, znači da u biti osobe s invaliditetom pošalju poruku svima nama što znači inkluzija i što znači zajednički život, da to nije samo nekakva floskula i da to nisu samo nekakve priče, nego da je to nešto što je moguće i nešto što je ostvarivo i nešto što se mora živjeti. Znači ne možemo samo pričati i živjeti od danas do sutra, već to moramo stvarno početi i primjenjivati na djelo. Jer jedno je pričati šta, kako i na koji način, a jedno je živjeti tu priču. Tako da ako smo pokazali ovdje u Hrvatskoj da možemo živjeti tu priču, da možemo živjeti inkluziju, vjerujem znači da to možemo pokazati i na razini Europe i na razini cijeloga svijeta. Pa evo, tim putem smo pokrenuli crowdfunding kampanju gdje prikupljamo sredstva kako bi mogli kupiti jedan gastor kamion koji će biti jedan stage gdje će se osobe sa invaliditetom moći natjecati i gdje će onda ti najbolji moći pokazati sve svoje vještine, ali gdje će biti i vidljivi svima koji će doći njih pratiti tamo, gdje će biti vidljivi javnosti, građanima, gospodarstvenicima i svima ostalima. Osim tog kamiona potrebno su nam sredstva, znači za gorivo, za cestarine i za hranu. To je ono što nam je primarno što moramo imati da bi mogli odraditi takav jedan veliki projekat. Pa iz tog razloga smo se onda uključili u ovu crowdfunding kampanju, odnosno nismo se mi uključili, već su nas uključili, pošto su u tom dijelu, u taj dio mi osobno ne razumijemo, ali nismo to nikada radili.
Evo, hvala ti Vedrane. Čućemo još detalje u nastavku o kampanji koju ste pokrenuli, koja je u tijeku, ponavljam. Evo, Sanja, ti si voditeljica strategije razvoja proizvoda za pravne osobe u banci. Ali si baš sa svojim... Ja mislim da se čujemo. Jel Sanji radi dobro? Ali si baš s ovim produktom svog hobija zaplivala u Kickstarter kampanji, pa evo što je dosta zanimljivo jer je to platforma koja nije dostupna u Hrvatskoj, odnosno za tvrtke registrirane u Hrvatskoj. Pa evo, možeš li nam ukratko reći kako je izgledala tvoja kampanja?
Ovako, znači, meni se taj dio što se ljudi često bune kad pokreću svoju kampanju i onda ja znam da sam se jako mučila, aha, pa kako porezi, pa kako ja nemam firmu, to je samo, meni sad, kak bi rekla, godinu dana nakon se to čini totalno, ok, to ćemo lako, to je nešto što je takva tehnikalija da se lako rješava. Ono što je zapravo kod Kickstartera, ja sad kada gledam da mi se čini ključno, to je zapravo kome prodajete, kako prodajete i što je rekao i gospodin, da bildate tu vašu zajednicu koja će vas podržati. I zapravo da bi uspjeli, meni se to čini nekako ključno. Da sve ove tehnikalije s kojima ste zapravo vi sada i krenuli, kao to nije zaregistrirane, nema veze. To se realno riješi u 15 minuta, a bildanje crowda je neki long term proces koji zapravo zahtijeva vrijeme i jako puno angažmana. I onda da bi zapravo u tome bili uspješni, na to se treba po meni s ovim iskustvom jako primarno fokusirati. Ja šuštim, hoćete mi ovo drugo isključiti? Ok, tako da to je moja priča.
Ok, evo Mladene, ti si imao nešto drugačiji put. Evo da čujemo, je li mikrofon ovaj radi?
Treba mikrofon. Okay.
Ajde da čujemo.
Mikrofon ili ćemo slušati? Može.
Evo, da, ti si imao nešto drugačiju vrstu kampanje, da, malo drugačiji od ovoga.
Jako drugačiji, zapravo, evo, možda bi trebalo malo više reći otkud je to sve krenulo. Ja sam 30 godina u industriji koja je povezana s automobilima, voznim parkovima, radići i za globalne kompanije i druge kompanije, znači jednostavno naučio sam taj posao raditi. 2011. sam pokrenuo sa partnerom svoj prvi startup, jel? Međutim, tada su bila iskustva, evo sad govorimo o startup sceni koja je u Hrvatskoj, pričamo svi o njoj, ali ona je relativno nova pojava, jel? Znači prije 10 godina je, barem iz mog nekog iskustva, puno teže bilo razgovarati o crowdfunding kampanjama ili VC fondovima, ili toga nije bilo. Znači, naš put je bio drugačiji, mi smo novac posuđivali od banaka i leasinga, što je možda čak i teži put, jel? I tu smo pokrenuli posao, ja imam taj exit, jedan od 2019. i zapravo svo to nekakvo znanje akumulirano sa klijentima, sa globalnim kompanijama, u radu sa automobilima, voznim parkovima smo pretočili u jedan softver koji smo počeli još u tom prvom startupu razvijati. Od znači tog doba, onda smo 2019. pokrenuli posebnu kompaniju i prvi zapravo naš susret sa financiranjem koje je izvan ovog bankarskog miljeja je zapravo su bili EU fondovi. Tako da evo, moj savjet je uvijek da se ide na neku kombinaciju, znači nikad nemojte se osloniti na jedan izvor, znači crowdfunding kampanja, VC fondovi, EU fondovi, privatni novac, banke, znači to uvijek mora biti neki miks, jer zapravo što ste maštoviti, imate više izvora i kanala, lakše ćete doći do cilja, jel? Evo, to je nekakav savjet. Ovaj današnji biznis, znači sad smo odradili smo 2 kampanje crowdfundinga preko estonske platforme Funderbeam. Ona je prilično poznata u našoj regiji, tu je partnership sa Zagrebačkom burzom, evo to moram pohvaliti, Zagrebačka burza jako puno pomaže znači kompanijama koji su startupi u izradi projekata, znači pomoći da se odradi kampanja, da se isprezentira. Isto tako složio bi se s kolegama, jako bitno je kad pokrećete takve kampanje, tog tipa na platformama, to su vaši krugovi poznanika, prijatelja, prvenstveno se oslanjate na njih, a onda ako imate dobru priču, onda malo na širi krug koji možete zahvatiti, jel? Dobijete neku vidljivost, evo Funderbeam ima, mislim, preko 20.000 investitora koji ulažu. Istina da su većinom orijentirani na ova baltička tržišta, Estonija, Litva, Litvanija, ali evo imamo recimo neke poznate primjere u Hrvatskoj, osim naše kompanije, Include je recimo 3 runde odradio, Upsolon, Pivnica Medvedgrad, Friendly Fire je sad u kampanji. Naša ova kampanja druga na Funderbeamu, evo, nedavno završila. Znači, mi smo evo prikupili sad novac, sad idemo u ovaj dio operativni da taj novac usmjerimo ono što trebamo, a to je daljnji razvoj. Naš MVP je završio, počeli smo prodaju. Danas evo baš imamo još jednu zanimljivu situaciju. Na večer je u CISEX-u jedan akcelerator koji nudi mogućnost izlaska na američko tržište, suportira znači kompanije koje žele iskorak napraviti preko bare i mislimo da evo to je isto zanimljiv znači oblik, preko akceleratora se može dobiti namjenska sredstva i evo trebate biti maštoviti u svakom slučaju. Neću dužiti, bit će još sigurno prije.
Biće sigurno još pitanja. Evo sada možemo se osvrnuti na to, niste spomenuli, evo Sanja možeš ti reći zapravo kakva je bila tvoja kampanja, kako si ti nju razgranala, ajmo to tako reći.
Meni se čini da svaka od tih platformi ima neke svoje zakonitosti i FounderBeam nije kao Kickstarter. Na Kickstarteru vi zapravo prodajete i sebe i proizvod nekom, let's say, kompaniju. Kao na drugčiji su postulati funkcioniranja toga. Ono što je uvijek zapravo vi morate biti autentični. Morate biti autentični u tome što radite i što je gospodin govorio, morate voljeti to bez daljnjega, ali ja mislim da osim ideje i ljubavi vi ipak trebate i neki novac. Ok, može tu sad govori jedan drugi dio mene bankar, ali vi opet za svoju ideju ne možete doći samo sa skicama. Vi od negdje morate krenuti. Zapravo, kampanja je rezultat vašeg rada koji radite već dugo. Kao što gospodin Mladen kaže, oni krenuo do 2009. Ja sam godinama prije radila da bi zapela financijski i onda krenula na Kickstarter da taj svoj proizvod do kraja mogu realizirati. Znači, kampanja je samo posljedica vašeg rada, kako do nekog kapitala. A vi ste već, ja bih rekla, prijašnji neki fundraising odradili friends and family. Jer vi definitivno trebate neki novac da bi imali MVP, znači minimal viable product, ne znam ko prati te skraćenice, ali uglavnom vi da bi imali taj nekakav proizvod koji možete pokazati i pokazati da ste spremni i da možete zapravo ga plasirati u onoj punoj količini, vi ste već trebali uložiti. Osim svoga vremena, pešena i ljubavi i puno prepreka koje vam se tu dogode, trebate zapravo i kapital određeni.
Kako je izgledao tvoj put? Dakle, što si ti zapravo stvarala?
Ja sam stvarala dječju igru. To je igra koju smo mi doma igrali i zapravo je to bila nekakva highlight toga da je to igra koju su u potpunosti stvorila djeca i to je bilo jako i fora i djeci je još danas zabavno to što su crteži i cijeli koncept igre potpuno razigrani dječji i zapravo je kao da sam ja dijete i dalje, pa da je to taj dječji pešon iz mene izlazio. Tako da ja sam 2 godine radila na tome i onda zapravo sam shvatila da ja ne mogu sama to više tiskati i da nemam tog kapitala i onda smo se odlučili da idemo na crowdfunding kampanju. Ono što bi ja sad ovako gledajući unatrag savjetovala, meni nije baš to što ja imam 2 posla. Prvo sam mislila kako je to zgodno i ja to mogu. Zapravo ja vidim da je to uopće suludo. Kao da si ideš baciti s padobranom, pa si misliš uhvatit ću se za granu. Ok, ja sam na kraju uspjela u tome, ali to je ima to svoje, kako bi rekla, neke posljedice. Čovjek kad je u tome, ima passion za to, treba raditi samo to. Jer onda predaš svoj proizvod nekome koga do kraja ne živi, ne vjeruje i nikad nema tu strast kao ti sam. Jednostavno ono što se radi, vi ste lice svoje firme, Mladen je lice ljudi i to izuzetno krasno i pohvalno. Jednostavno kad ti radiš svoje, ti si taj koji to trebaš gurati i druge nema. Tako da bi to svakako bio moj savjet, da prvi moraš imati vjeru u sebe i sam to gurati.
Da, sad mi se mote jako puno pitanja za tebe što se tiče, što si rekla sad, za ta 2 posla. Da. Kakva ti je sad situacija?
Ja sam, nažalost, morala izaći, taman sam u isladskoj startup scene, jer sam u bankarstvu koje je hiperregulirano i onda jednostavno je došlo vrijeme da ne mogu održavati 2 funkcije.
Evo, možemo još samo reći zapravo što si ti napravila.
Ja sam uspjela...
Kako si gledale te karte?
Da, kartice su fora, štosne i dječje. Ono što je super da sam ja to sve prodala. Znači, ja sam apsolutno ostvarila sani svoje djeci. Sve tih 50 djece koji su crtali, oni su super ponosni i uspješni jer se to stvarno po cijelom svijetu igra. I to je u kratkom vremenu. Ono što je zapravo uspjeh projekta je da je, ne znam, preko 1000 paketa toga je prodano, igra se po cijelom svijetu, što je za 6 mjeseci board gaminga lijepa brojka. Tako da to je ta dječja igra. Ja sam nažalost sada trenutno i izašla, ko zna, možda ću se ponovno vratiti. Tako da je rezultat kampanje, ja sam skupila $13,000. Mislim da, kako bi rekla, svaka kampanja vi ju fine-tunirate, vjerujem, ovisno o platformi. Tako da sad da neke stvari radila bi ih mudrije i drugačije. I zato mislim da je super ko gospodin iz BackerKita, oni u tome imaju ogromno iskustvo i da, slažem se, trebate apsolutno mail adrese. To su sve tehnikalije. Vi morate zapravo razraditi cijelu strategiju prodaje, osim pricinga i svih ovih 10 pi koji je on stavio. Ali morate znati kome prodajete. Meni se događalo da community koji je mene pratio, što je fantastično da sam ga imala uopće tako jakog i velikog, je mene pitao li ja mogu platiti pouzećem. I zapravo vi jako puno energije iscrpljujete, objašnjavate nekom, Isuse, pa Kickstarter, ako bekaš godinama, onda ti takva pitanja ni ne padaju na pamet. Jel mogu platiti pouzećem, kome doniram? I to su toliko puno pitanja. Ok, ljudi ne poznaju to. Ja sam ciljala na različite publike gdje su zapravo bile i...
Doćemo i do targeta, pa ćete ispitati detaljno kako si došla do toga. Evo, Vedrane, još si nam tu. Rekao si da zapravo vi nemate baš iskustva zapravo da su vas uključili u tu crowdfunding kampanju, ali htjela sam te pitati kako to da ste izabrali baš ovu kampanju Go Get Funding, odnosno tu platformu?
Zato što su nam sugerirali da je ta najbolja. Znači, mi ono što znamo raditi s osobama s invaliditetom i to što provodimo 365 dana u godini. Znači, ove ostale stvari treba se čovjek prepustiti stručnjacima, slušati njihove savjete i onda na taj način možeš jednostavno uspjeti. Znači, neka svako odradi svoj dio posla, ja sam onda uvjeren da ćemo doći do nekakvog krajnjega cilja. Krajnji cilj je svaki čovjek koji se nalazi negdje u nekakvom malom mjestu ili u nekom velikom gradu koji trenutno znači nije vidljiv. Da svi idemo prema tom nekakvom cilju. Ali možda nešto više o kampanji samo Silvija reći, pošto ona više komunicira znači sa ostatkom ekipe nego što to radim ja. Ja sam u ovome drugome dijelu što se tiče znači rada sa osobama s invaliditetom. Pa evo Silvija, daj ti molite zašto smo odabrali.
Može, Silvija.
Pozdrav svima.
Bok.
Zašto smo odabrali Go Get Funding? Je li to bilo pitanje?
Da.
Pojma nemam zašto smo odabrali Go Get Funding. Mi se još uvijek upoznajemo sa ovim nepoznanicama, šta su perkovi, šta su bekeri, kako ćemo to sve ishendlati, pa smo to, kako kaže Vedran, prepustili mladoj stručnoj ekipi koja vodi našu Go Get Funding kampanju. Stvar svega je da naš proizvod je znači inovativna metodologija poučavanja o pravilnom pristupu i komunikaciji prema osobama s invaliditetom koji predstavljamo javno. Znači, cilj nam je globalno proširiti svijest o sposobnostima osoba sa invaliditetom. U razgovoru sa našom ekipom koja pomaže nama oko naše kampanje, Go Get Funding se pokazao kao najbolja prilika trenutno ovdje u Hrvatskoj, gdje mi za mjesec dana trebamo skupiti popriličnu svotu novca.
Hvala ti. Evo, Mladene, sada pitanje za tebe, zapravo kako to da ste vi krenuli sa Funderbeamom i zapravo kolike dividende nudite ulagačima? A možemo i objasniti malo o čemu je zapravo tu točnije riječ, da?
Možemo cijelu shemu objasniti.
Tako, evo.
Možemo reći da smo na Funderbeamu iskusni. Lani smo odradili prvu rundu, ove godine drugu. Kako smo se odlučili? Pa evo, malo smo proučavali tu, znači, te mogućnosti. Postoje naravno više varijanti i više platformi koje to rade. Mi smo se odlučili za ovu europsku, prvenstveno zato što znamo i ljude sa burze u tim nekim poslovnim krugovima. Mislim da je dobro da imate neku bazu i neko ko vam pomaže odavde, da niste možda prepušteni sami sebi, jel? Znači, uvijek je naravno lakše kad imate nekog ko vas konzultira kako nešto dobro odraditi, kako pitch napraviti, kako dobro sve opisati, kako dobro isprezentirati i kako voditi kad krenete s kampanjom. Znači, ove Funderbeam kampanje imaju dva dijela, evo ja bi to možda htio objasniti. Prvi dio je jedan private dio gdje vi zapravo pozivate krugove svojih poznanika, prijatelja, koje vjerujete da će investirati i on je zatvoren za javnost. Kada dođete do nekakvog minimuma koji je nekakvih 30% od očekivanih sredstava, znači minimalnog iznosa, onda se on može otvoriti kao public. I onda zapravo predstavljate priču u cijeloj javnosti. Mislim da je jako i najbitnija zapravo je stvar da stalno komunicirate tokom kampanje sa javnosti. Mi smo jako puno koristili LinkedIn i socijalne mreže. Znači LinkedIn kao poslovni medije mislimo da je dobar izvor informacija. Imali smo prilično jaku, ili imamo evo i prijatelje koji su neki marketing menadžeri. Ja sam zaboravio reći, nas je 6 co-foundera. Znači, ja jesam pokrenuo priču, ali evo, pridružili su mi se i kolege i poznanici iz biznisa i prijatelji i advisori koji zapravo sa mnom rade. Puno je lakše kad si okružen ljudima koji su eksperti u nekim područjima nego kad sve radiš sam. To je, evo, zato skidam kapu ko sam gura jedan projekt. Da. Onaj ko sam gura projekt, to je jako teško. Znači, okružiti se ljudima koji znaju posao je puno lakše. Tako da, evo, jako bitno je, znači, u ovom onda public dijelu. Mi smo imali prilično jaku i medijsku kampanju, izašli smo u svim medijima, pa čak smo i na televiziji u jednom času bili. Znači, jednostavno, morate to gurati, neće se ništa samo desiti. Nesreća je bila sad u drugoj kampanji, bitno je vrijeme kad izaberete, naravno. Mi smo ušli, naravno, u ljeto, u 8. mjesec, što nismo htjeli, ali jednostavno...
Zašto?
Nismo htjeli ući u ljeto, jer ljudi su u 8. mjesecu opušteni i jako malo se ko stigne baviti. Zapravo, nazovi me kad se vratim sa mora, sa godišnjeg, znači morate jako pametno izabrati termin i ako uđete u neki period, naravno, neću sad govoriti da je tu i nekakve opće okolnosti globalne i naznake recesije neke i ove krize u Ukrajini, rata i tak dalje, da to sve skupa utječe, pogotovo na ovo baltičko tržište, jer nama je baza Funderbeam je estonska i jako puno se tamo priča o ratu i tak dalje, svi su malo uplašeni, svi ti investitori tamo. I to su sve neke otežavajuće okolnosti, ali ako ste uporni, gurate, cijelo vrijeme reklamirate, izlazite, pričate priču svoju. Ja mogu reći da mi u taj neki marketing nismo praktički ništa uložili. Interes medija, ako ste startup, je jako velik u Hrvatskoj. Znači, možete 10 medija odraditi, ništa vas neće koštati. Bitno je povezati se s ljudima, ispričati im priču. Svi oni vole neku dobru vijest. Evo, Mobility Van radi globalnu platformu za upravljanje voznim parkovima koja će se koristiti u Americi, koji koriste kompanije koje imaju flote, koji koriste pametni gradovi. Znači, morate jako lijepu, dobru priču ispričati. I morate konzistentni biti i kontinuirano gurati. I onda će biti rezultata. Onda ćete skupiti sredstva i dalje se onda ponašate, investirate, idete što prije cilju. Jer cilj je izaći što prije na tržište. Evo, kad počne neki revenue period, onda je lakše. Ipak, dogodi ova faza, mi 2 godine investiramo, znači evo, tek sad krećemo prve korisnike i kupce, kompanije s kojima smo napravili ugovore i onda ide lakše već ta druga faza. Onda treba vam novac za ekspanziju, ali već možete ove osnovne potrebe rješavati iz nekog inkama.
Evo, kolike dividende ste vi nudili ulagačima? Pa,
Funderbeam se zasniva na tome da, znači, vi na bazi morate napraviti valuaciju firme. Znači, mora vam nama je radila dosta renomirana kuća svjetska Mazars, revizija. Oni su napravili evaluaciju u prvoj i drugoj kampanji. Znači, na bazi te evaluacije vi definirate koji iznos tražite, jel? Stavljate neki minimum i maksimum. Znači, na bazi tog minimuma ako se desi minimum, znači zapravo dajete u ukupnom omjeru u odnosu na evaluaciju firme, dajete udjele, jel? Dajete poslovne udjele. Nama je u prvoj kampanji Funderbeam bio 11%, a sad u ovoj drugoj, s obzirom da je evaluacija, pa gotovo smo je podigli, jer smo napravili MVP, počela je prodaja, gotovo smo je poduplali, sad će biti nekakvih malo manje od 4%. Jel? Znači ukupno je Funderbim 14%, što je dobro kod Funderbima, vi u sljedećim krugovima investiranja, kada vam ulaze neki visi fondovi, vi Funderbi možete replaceat, znači oni nije cilj da ostanu dugo, jel? Nego da imaju dobar prinos. Znači, svi naši prijatelji, mi očekujemo da će biti zadovoljni kad budu izlazili kroz jednu godinu, godinu i pol dana, da će na novac koji su uložili barem to poduplati.
Koliko ste ulagača onda dobili kroz kampanju?
Mi smo u prvom krugu imali oko 130, a sad će isto biti preko 100 u ovom drugom. Tako da, to su, znači, ulagači, minimum je bio u prvom krugu 200 eura, znači najveća investicija nam je bila 30.000 eura, jel? To je bio lead investor. Zaboravio sam reći da kod takvih kampanja trebate imati lead investora, znači to je osoba koja će dati 10% očekivanog iznosa. Ona je zapravo bitna da pokrene lavinu, da dokaže da ja vjerujem ovoj ekipi, vjerujem u ovaj projekt. Zato vam je užasno bitno ko vam je lead investor, da li on dolazi iz područja u kojem vi jeste, kakva je to osoba, on vas na neki način gura i promovira i evo, kod Funderbima je to jedna karakteristika da trebate imati dobrog lead investora, to vam onda pomaže. Ja bih još htio dodati da smo mi nedavno ove godine pokrenuli još jedan startup, znači tu je dio moje ekipe, dio tima, ali je i dio drugih partnera. Znači, radi se o jednoj digitalnoj platformi, jednom marketplaceu za prodaju novih vozila. Znači, to je nešto slično što u Europi radi CarWow ili Kazoo. Znači, to su dvije, ajmo reći, platforme kao marketplacei, gdje kad kupujete novi auto, obično ljudi idu, pretražuju web stranice, odlaze dilerima, prodavačima, trgovcima, traže auto. Znači, mi sad dajemo mogućnost da na jednom mjestu vi možete dobiti informacije o svim markama, svim modelima vozila koji su u prodaji na bilo kojem tržištu, da možete dogovoriti posao, da možete dobiti najbolju ponudu, ne morate nigdje ići. Imate virtualno 3D iskustvo, znači automobil možete vrtiti u 3D, možete ga gledati iznutra. To je jedna platforma, evo, koju smo pokrenuli ove godine, na njoj radi dosta veliki tim i to su za sad samo privatna sredstva. Znači, planiramo naravno izaći kroz možda 2-3 mjeseca isto na Funderbim sa njom. Sad je u jednom testnom periodu, znači testiraju je prodavači vozila za početak i novinari, a evo, ja mislim da će premijera biti vrlo uskoro i kad izađemo na tržište, nekako nam je cilj da poklopimo izlazak na tržište i Funderbim, da zapravo ljudi mogu vidjeti o čem se radi. Jel?
Ok, sad kad si spomenuo si i novinare da testiraju upravo to vam je isto jedan dio vaše marketinške onda, mislim, strategije ili?
Apsolutno, znači mi smo dali mogućnost novinarima koji su vezani uz autoindustriju. Znači, tu ima influencera i novinara, znači oni sad su dali smo im ulaz da mogu pogledati platformu i sad prikupljamo njihove informacije, radimo određena poboljšanja. Znači, stvar je dosta osjetljiva jer je zapravo to je B2C proizvod za tržište i mi želimo pogoditi one osjećaje ljudi koji traže automobile, emocije, da vi možete pogledati automobil, da ga možete usporediti sa bilo kojim drugim, da možete dobiti najbolju ponudu i zato su nam jako bitna iskustva stručnjaka, eksperata koji onda pomažu da oblikujemo taj proizvod do kraja. Jel? Užasno bitno je da znači imate to neko predtestiranje i kad izađete da onda to bude to. Jel?
Definitivno. Evo, to je zapravo jedan dio i pripreme kampanje.
Apsolutno.
Baš ono što sam htjela vas i pitati. Vedrane, negdje sam pročitala da ste vi krenuli sa pripremom kampanje u kolovozu i da se finalizirala u rujnu. To mi se čini dosta brzo. Pa evo, kako ste to uspjeli ili je to vezano sve za vaše stručnjake kojima ste dali taj posao?
Ja bih rekao da je opet cjelokupni tim, znači, koji sudjeluje, znači, u svemu tome. Našli smo se svi zajedno i odlučili smo da idemo u tu priču. A zbog čega smo se odlučili da idemo u tu priču? Zato što su svi ti ljudi ponaosob doživjeli tu priču. Znači, prvo ono što smo mi ispričali, znači, sa naše strane, a onda smo to doživjeli i uživo. Teško je jako objasniti kad ne prodaješ neki određeni proizvod. Znači mi možemo sad sa osobama s invaliditetom proizvoditi čokoladu, vrećice nekakve, možemo proizvoditi upaljače, možemo svašta nešto raditi, ali s time znači ne mijenjamo niti na nacionalnoj razini, a niti šire ne mijenjamo znači svijest ljudi. Kad ti doživiš osobu sa invaliditetom i kad vidiš iz prve ruke da je on nema sutra, znači jednostavno ta činjenica je poražavajuća da preko 90% njih živi i čeka svoju smrt. To je jako ružno, znači da čuti ili pogotovo doživjeti, ali to su stvarne činjenice. Znači, on nema za što da se bori. Znači, većina njih ne radi, većina njih nije na tržištu, većina njih nije, da li ih srećete negdje na ulici, ili srećete u dućanu, ili srećete da su zaposleni u bankama, ili srećete da su zaposleni u zračnim kompanijama, ne srećete ih nigdje. Pa gdje su? Pa nije da su nestali. Svi stalno pričamo koliko imamo osoba s invaliditetom u Hrvatskoj. Pa samo u Hrvatskoj ih je sad trenutno preko 500.000. Pa gdje je cijela Europa? Gdje je cijeli svijet? A gdje su svi ti ljudi? Nema ih. Pa šta ne postoje? Pa postoje. I kad su to ljudi vidjeli u našem timu, znači da ovakve stvari stvarno mijenjaju svijest ljudi, onda su odlučili da jednostavno moramo svi zajedno uprijeti u to. Jer svaki dan, svaki sat, minuta, mjesec, godina, nečiji život može promijeniti u jednom pozitivnom smjeru, ali može ga preokrenuti u jednom negativnom smjeru. Znači, zamislimo se samo da svako od nas sada u ovom trenutku doživi neku nesreću i da nam netko oduzme onaj alat kojim trenutno zarađujemo novac. Da li je to naš mozak kojim razmišljamo, da li su to naše ruke ako fizički nešto radimo, nebitno što je to, i sad tebi netko oduzme. Ti u tom trenutku spadaš u onih 99% osoba s invaliditetom za koje više nitko ne mari. Samo onaj 1% koji su ekstra talentirani ili koji su jako bogati, oni se mogu izboriti znači, za sebe da budu znači, dio ovoga društva. Tako da smo mi dali svako od nas ponaosob, prvenstveno mislim znači, na stručnjake koji se bave kampanjama dugi niz godina, dali su 110% sebe i rade 7 dana u tjednu kako bi svakom čovjeku pomogli znači, da bude dio tog društva čim brže, čim prije. Jer pomažući u biti njima da budu dio društva, pomažemo sami sebi. Jer mi se osjećamo bolje, ispunjenije, tako da išlo je to u biti samo od sebe. Znači, nije trebalo nešto previše pametovati i mudrovati koliko nam treba da izađemo sa tim van.
Definitivno. Hvala ti. Sanja, što bi ti rekla?
Ja bih samo, ako Silvija bi se htjela isto obratiti, mislim da ste rekla, Silvija.
Se čujemo, pozdrav.
Da.
Da, evo mi smo tu ispričavam se, na penzijskoj smo stali, putujemo prema Rimu, pa čekamo da krenemo dalje na put. Uglavnom, Vedran je htio actually reći da sam ja glavna faca u tih mjesec dana kad se tiče kampanje. Znači, da, stručan tim rekao je to nije moguće, ali daćemo sve od sebe i hvala im na tome što su pokazali da je moguće. U roku od mjesec dana naša Go Get Funding Cupid Spoon kampanja pokrenuta je zaista u roku od mjesec dana. Dok su njih 5 tipkali mailove, ja sam jedna s druge strane odgovarala na sve te mailove i pokušala prenijeti im priču, prenijeti emociju, dodatni sadržaj. Sve smo u dogovoru, znači i oko vizuala i oko teksta, oko apsolutno svega dogovarali. I da, naša kampanja je live i ne zaboravite kliknuti na kampanju Go Get Funding Cupid Spoon i uplatiti koji euro, potaknuti nas, podržati nas jer 15 godina nas dvoje radimo u udruzi 16 sati, a cijeli život radimo 2 posla, tako da ne moramo vas dodatno uvjeravati da mi znamo šta radimo i stojimo iza toga šta radimo i imamo jako velike uspjehe u tome što radimo, odnosno uspjehe imaju oni za koje mi to radimo. Eto, hvala.
Odlično. Evo, možete se možda javiti poslije Silviji za kontakt tih stručnjaka koji su uspjeli pokrenuti kampanju u mjesec dana. Hvala ti, Silvija, još jednom. Sanja, htjela sam tebe pitati što bi ti rekla, evo sad kad je prošla kampanja, koji su bili ti neki ključni aspekti, faktori u pripremi kampanje, odnosno u cijeloj provedbi?
Znači, na Kickstarteru je jako bitan dobar video. Ja sam to prekasno saznala, ali baš trebate imati jako dobar video. Ne samo u smislu produkcije, pa da je to fantastično ono u smislu kamere ili svega, nego u smislu i poruka. Kad malo proučavate te sve videe, oni su rađeni kao ono format reklama, ne znam, imate gljivice, evo vam krema. Sad ja to apsolutno banaliziram, ali kao u startup svijetu je to rješavate određen problem, frustraciju, emociju, kao što, kako bi rekla, to je to što prodaje. Znači, tu su gljivice, su frustracija, krema je rješenje. Znači, i u tim videima je jako dobro da je koncipiran upravo na taj način. Aha, kod mene je bilo, djeca su vam previše na kompjuteru i pada im fokus, što je problem, ajmo reći, novog doba. A igra moja je napravljena na način da djecu uči fokusu i koncentraciji. Znači, problem, rješenje. Tako to... Ok, ja to nisam znala, spontano je to napravljeno video u tom tonu, ali u principu video je stvarno jako, jako bitan. Bitan je taj community što svi cijelo vrijeme govore. Bitno je da vi pokažete da vi proizvod koji ste prodali možete realizirati do kraja. Kao što je bitno, ne znam, vama da pokažete da je firma sustainable i da ima scalability, što je ključno u startup svijetu, da ne raste 3% godišnje, nego 800% godišnje. I zapravo bitno je da vi pokažete da vi kao neko ko je nositelj ili vas 6, da vi to možete izgurati do kraja. Jer vama actually ljudi nešto plate i sad kibi-dabi, kak bi rekla. To je sve... Bilo koji startup svijet u ulozi, jedan uspije, 10 faila i sad vi zapravo dajete novac neovisno šta je vaš kao backeru, investitoru, nije uopće bitno šta vi dobivate za uzvrat, vi se uvijek na neki način kladite i to ljudima i stvara taj drive, što je gospodin prije govorio, kao ja sam emotional ili su oni uspjeli, ili ti se osjećaš dobro ili si ti kao prepoznao da će to uspjeti. Vi igrate tu na različitu kartu emocija kojima prodajete nešto svoje. Tako da mislim da je bitno to mudro sagledati, a u tom kontekstu je, ne znam, u Founder Beamu je vjerojatno bitno ono kako ti procijene firmu na različitim bilancama a ovdje je bitno da klijenta uvjeriš da njemu to zapravo će koristiti ako hoće i da zapravo si ti u stanju to plasirati, poslat mu.
Mladene, što bi ti istaknuo da je bilo najbitnije u pripremi kampanje?
Evo što sam rekao, ovdje se apsolutno mogu složiti da je ta jedna poruka koju šaljete preko videa je apsolutno bitna. Znači ta priprema kako ćete posložiti cijelu priču i kako ćete objasniti upravo ovo. Znači koji je problem koji vi rješavate, znači to je, sve se svodi zapravo na to, koje je ciljano tržište, znači ta komunikacija mora biti što jasnija. Sve te vaše poruke koje šaljete i tokom kampanje moraju ići u tom smjeru. Jel? Znači da ljudima bude jasno. Ja bi tu napravio jednu distinkciju. Razlika je kad radite nekakav proizvod koji je opipljiv. Znači mi radimo jedan software as a service, jednu platformu koja je B2B proizvod, znači namijenjena je kompanijama. Tu je apsolutno drugačiji pristup. Onda znači ne obraćate se potrošačima, jel, kojima nudite neki konkretan proizvod, nego radite malo na drugi jedan način. Znači, obraćate se kompanijama, obraćate se firmama koje bi trebali dobiti uštede, obraćate se nekoj zajednici. Znači, evo, naša platforma može mjeriti CO2 emisije, pa je onda i sustainability komponenta. Znači, imate apsolutno drugačije neke poruke. I onda morate na taj način ciljati. Evo, htjela si nešto reći.
Mogu please reći, i u kompanijama rade ljudi. Vi se uvijek obraćate ljudima i ako on ima u svom KPI-u da smanji CO2, on će to kupovati. Znači, vama je uvijek je bitno ko je sugovornik i šta on iz toga dobiva.
Točno. Kažem, malo je drugačiji koncept, prodajete softver koji ne možete ga dirat, nije igra, nije neki proizvod, nego je jedna virtualna usluga. Jel?
Silvija, jeste možda ne mutani ili mi trebamo to riješiti?
Ne, ja vas čujem.
Imam ja pitanje jedno.
Samo. Čujete?
Da čujemo.
Da, slušam.
Ko je rekao da ima pitanje?
Ja imam pitanje. Su ljudi koji su tamo prisutni vidjeli proizvode, znači, pošto mi nismo sad tamo, nažalost, jesu prezentirali proizvode, te igrice ove koje su djeca igrala i tako, jesu proizvodi mogli bi pokazati?
Ne, niste to propustili, tako da bez brige. Sanja, gdje ti je igra?
Ali proizvod se može vidjeti.
Molim? Da.
Proizvod se može vidjeti.
Može se i softver vidjeti, ko želi.
Dobro, ok, evo vratim se.
Hvala. Evo, imamo još jako malo vremena. Sanja, tebe bih pitala vezano za poreze. Kako ste uspjeli taj dio ishendlati? Kako to funkcionira?
Niko je to hoće se riješiti, vidjela sam ga. Ali u principu vi dobijete od Nike fakturu, taj fee koji ste zapravo plaćali za uslugu, kao da ste prodali cijelu robu njemu. Tako da to u mom slučaju je bilo ništa, bez veze. Obična faktura.
Da čujemo samo da dobijemo kontekst.
Ja sam dobila ulaznu fakturu, izlaznu fakturu od Nike i valjda njemu platila, ni ne znam, meni je to knjigovodstvo rješavalo. Znači, toliko mi je to bilo banalno da se sad godinu dana nakon ne mogu ni sjetiti. A ljudi, jako puno njih koji me pitaju za neku vrstu pomoći u tome, me pitaju takvu stvar. I sad, ja bi to trebala možda bolje znati, ali meni se čini da je puno bitnije smisliti cijeli sales. Jer ti ako prodaš ovak, super, riješit ćeš porez. Ako je 15 nas prije to uspjelo i ti 16 ćeš uspjeti. Samo uspji, prodaj u što većem u tih mjesec dana.
Okay. Evo, danas ćemo imati još jedan panel vezan uz poreze gdje ćemo baš detaljno ući tu tematiku, tako da evo. Ali ne, hvala ti na odgovoru. Evo, imate li možda još nešto, neki savjet?
Pa evo, ja bi možda samo se nadovezao na ovo, kad idete preko Funderbima, htio bi samo objasniti ako neko od vas krene u tom smjeru, kako to funkcionira. Znači, svi ovi ulagači, privatni ulagači, mogu biti firme na Funderbimu, to sam zaboravio reći, firmama se to priznaje kao ulaganje, investicija. Znači, kada se prikupi taj kapital, što je dosta bitno za reći, onda upravitelj, to je Funderbim iz Estonije, on osniva jedan SPV, jedno posebno društvo, ulagačko, koje dobiva zapravo od ovih investitora low note. Vi kao mali investitor dajete tom SPV-u kredit, jel? Znači, vi niste dioničar u društvu, nego mu svi ti ulagači su posudili su novac, jel? Znači, tako je to koncipirano i onda taj SPV ulazi u vlasništvo, upisuje se u sudski registar u Hrvatskoj i taj prikupljeni novac se stavlja ulaže u temeljni kapital. Da, nešto malo, imamo neke cvrčke, imamo neke. Onda se taj, znači, prikupljeni novac ulaže u povećanje temeljnog kapitala, zapravo i na taj način čisto je sve porezno, i prilično jednostavno, eto. Društveni ugovor se napravi, mislim, kompanije koje idu u tom smjeru nije komplicirano to odraditi.
Hvala ti. Evo, Silvija, imaš li ti možda nešto reći za kraj, nekakvu možda koristan savjet svim crowdfunderima vezan za kampanje?
Pa, obzirom da ja, vidjeli ste, nisam neki stručnjak da bi mogla dati savjet, svakako bih htjela čestitati vašim panelistima. Puno pouka smo izvukli iz njihovih izlaganja, dosta smo toga sad trenutno naučili. Evo, obećajem da iduće godine naša kampanja će se nastaviti nakon ovih mjesec dana u Hrvatskoj. Obećajem da ću iduće godine rasturiti ja sa tim terminima kao vaši panelisti. I za kraj bi vas htjeli sve lijepo pozdraviti i predstaviti naš proizvod sada na sekundu ovdje da vidite tko je naš proizvod.
Evo ga, ovako vam izgledaju znači naše žlice, ovo je zlatna. Aha. Znači to je dizajnirano od zlatarne Dodić iz Zagreba, zlatna, srebrna i brončana, ali to nije naš proizvod. Naš u biti proizvod su, evo ga, ovi ovdje tu ljudi i naša brončana je... Ines Graf iz Vukovara.
Pozdrav. Bok.
I Marina Juk iz Koprivnice.
Pozdrav. Evo, ja bih iskoristila priliku samo reći, škicnula sam malo kako vam ide kampanja jutros i vidjela sam da imate već brončanog sponzora, da je Caritas donirao 4.000 eura za vašu kampanju, pa evo, čestitam ovim putem.
Aha. Evo ga, znači kad vam budete išli kliknuti da uplatite koji euro, možete vidjeti za koji proizvod ćete uplatiti euro.
Odlično.
Znači ovakvih ljudi je na stotine, na tisuće, tako da ovakvom pričom znači ćemo motivirati sve njih da se uključi da budu dio društva.
Evo, hvala Vedrane i Silvija.
Može. I evo nas natrag, naša pauza je gotova, koliko god ovako na prvu zvuči sat vremena je puno, stignemo sve zapravo, u sat vremena stignemo vrlo malo. Slijedi nam panel koji će Mirela ponovno moderirati. Nadam se da ste se uspjeli podružiti, razmijeniti mail adrese i sve ostalo. Naravno, kako bi naša kampanja i općenito ideja crowdfundinga bila uspješna, moramo sad malo zagrebat dublje, moramo ući u temu financija i poreza koja, kako je i gospođa Đurđica Jurić rekla, nama možda s ovog podneblja nije najdraža. Nitko od nas baš ne voli kada otvoreno pričamo o financijama i porezima, ali sam sigurna da će vas i ovaj panel osvojiti, da ćete saznati puno toga i kažem, nismo mogli pozvati bolje stručnjake i stručnjakinje od onih koji nam slijede, pa evo ga sada pozivam sa RRiF-a gospođu Đurđicu Jurić i Jasnu Vuk kao i Domagoja Boljara iz Mireta da odgovore na sva vaša pitanja i da otklone sve vaše nedoumice vezano uz financije i poreze. Izvolite.
Pa dobrodošli. Evo, lijepi pozdrav. Za početak, evo, nakon pauze, sve Vendi rekla da se ja ne ponavljam. Ono što nam je fokus ovog panela jesu zapravo crowdfunding i porezi u istim tim kampanjama. Evo, za početak najbolje možda da pustim vama da se predstavite. Evo, možemo da redom najbliže pokraj mene Domagoj Boljar iz Mireta.
Dobar dan, ja sam Domagoj i naš startup razvija i proizvodi najekološki obuću na svijetu. I jedan od prvih koraka u lansiranju naših proizvoda na tržište je bila kampanja na Kickstarteru koju smo odradili početkom ožujka 2020. Baš tjedan dana prije početka pandemije. Prikupili smo gotovo $70,000 i onda nam je malo skraćena kampanja zbog svih stvari koje su se događale sa prvim lockdownom. Tu nam je puno pomogao Niko Klanšek koji je ovdje Keynote speaker i dragi gost. Sad imam prvi put prilike ga uživo upoznati nakon svog tog vremena. I ono što je još možda interesantno je da smo mi radili crowd investing kampanju preko Funderbima ove godine koja nam je bila jako uspješna. Međutim, mislim da ovdje tema ovog panela je zapravo Kickstarter, Indiegogo i slične platforme i teme oko toga, ali to ćemo nakon što se kolegice predstavi.
Evo, hvala ti Domagoj. Đurđice, možete se vi predstaviti. Da vidimo.
Dobar dan još jedanput, ja sam Đurđica, dolazim iz RRiF grupe, dekanica sam RRiF Visoke škole za financijski menadžment i već 25 25 godina, evo neću kriti tu strašnu brojku, već 25 godina moja strast, moja ljubav jesu porezi. Ne biste vjerovali od onih groznih stvari da uistinu to može nekoga veseliti, da se time može baviti. I znači obavljam i posao savjetnika za područje računovodstva, poreza i financija.
Hvala. Dobar dan.
Radi.
Ja sam Jasna Vuk, također dijelim strast prema porezima i računovodstvu. Malo manji broj godina, ali skoro toliko. Predajem na RRiF Visokoj školi za financijski menadžment, a također sam i savjetnica za područje poreza, računovodstva i neprofitnog računovodstva.
Evo, hvala vam puno na predstavljanju.
Ja bih dodao samo još nešto, da sam ja školovani ekonomist poduzetništva i također zapravo dijelim neki način strast prema financijama, porezima, procedurama i tome, i zato sam, ako mogu to dodati, zapravo ja bio na neki način i inicijator ovog panela zbog svih problema kojima sam se nisu sretali, iako sam ja imao poslovno iskustvo već u tom trenutku, pa ćemo malo iz tog smjera.
Evo, Domagoj, tebe ćemo onda prvog na tapetu prilijepiti. Dakle, vaša kampanja koju ste pokrenuli, možeš li nam ukratko reći o njoj i onda o svim onim problemima koji su vas popali tijekom tog puta? Vezani za poreze, naravno.
Pa, mislim, tu se zapravo ne radi samo o porezima, radi se o knjigovodstvu oko toga i one su terminologiji stranoj koja se tamo pojavljuje i to šumi informacije i nedostatku pravih informacija. Ne bih govorio o kampanji i o tomu kako smo proizvodili sa marketinške strane i organizacijske, nego o pripremi koja je trajala dosta dugo upravo iz razloga što se Kickstarter u tom trenutku nije mogao pokrenuti iz Hrvatske i nažalost još uvijek se ne može. I onda smo tražili rješenja i to smo riješili upravo sa Nikom koji nam je bio na neki način posrednik preko kojega smo odradili kampanju. Međutim, susreli smo se sa problemom da nigdje nije postao jasni vodič, tumač, a ja bih rekao čak i rječnik ili prevoditelj onoga što crowdfunding je, a što on nije. I u pripremi za ovo sam upravo saznao da vas isto boli taj jezični dio oko toga koji mi, nažalost, ekipa iz Startup svijeta ne može izbjeći jer taj jezik dolazi iz Amerike. I mi jednostavno, i Kickstarter i sve te kampanje su prilagođene i amerikanizirane na taj način. I onda se pokazuje veliki problem da zapravo niko ne razumije što to je u suštini i kako to sve prevesti. Jel? I gdje vidite kako da se odnosim prema PDV-u, kako da se odnosim prema fakturiranju, kako da se odnosim prema donacijama, kako to knjižiti, kako ne, koje dokumente trebam izdavati. I ono što mi se ja susreo i u našoj pripremi kampanje, ali i poslije, jer me nebrojno puno ljudi koji su planirali lansirati kampanje zvalo, upravo jer im taj dio bio potpuno nejasan, zastrašujuć, a uglavnom se ne radi o iskusnim poduzetnicima, nego o nekomu ko kreće u poslovne vode. Konkretno tu se radilo o tomu, pitanje su ono, kako ću ja opravdati taj novac? Jesam na to nekom dužan, mislim, jako smiješna zapravo pitanja, ali dolaze iz jednog bitna, koja dolaze iz nepostojanja, ajmo reći, nekog mišljenja poreznog ili u RRiF-u kao članka. I na sreću ja sam imao jako dobre ljude oko sebe kao što je Albert Gajšak koji je to prošao već, koji se savjetovao sa Orkom i nama je to sve bilo vrlo brzo postalo jasno. A to je da cijelu tu priču trebamo prevesti na jednostavan jezik, a da je to zapravo web prodaja na daljinu, prodaja unaprijed i tako dalje. Ja sam to sve jako dobro razumio, međutim nisam u stanju to nekomu prenesti i mislim da je zapravo vaša uloga zapravo jedna super prilika da to malo pojasnite, ali da možda rezultat ovog svega na kraju bude jedan jako dobar članak.
Da, jedno istraživanje koje će prije toga uslijediti, da. Ono što ste sada spomenuli vezano za pitanja, znači kad ste krenuli u crowdfunding, to je jedna aktivnost, kao i pokretanje bilo kojeg biznisa. Dakle, ja često spominjem kada mladi ljudi kažu idemo otvoriti start-up, a ja pitam, a što otvarate? Pa start-up. Da, ali start-up mora imati organizacijski oblik, a to znači mora biti ili trgovačko društvo, ili treba biti obrt, ili može biti neprofitna organizacija, ako osnujemo neprofitnu organizaciju koja će se baviti određenim djelatnostima, ali tada nećemo moći ostvarivati profit. Idemo se usmjeriti na trgovačka društva. Iako će biti jako poslije zgodno moja kolegica koja je inače ekspert na području neprofitnih udruga, neprofitnih organizacija i u onom dijelu poreza ili računovodstva jednako tako, ona će vam više o tome reći, ali bilo zanimljivo sada kada smo gledali ovu udrugu. Vjerujte mi, udruzi je jednostavno. Vama nije jednostavno, vama je teško. Trgovačkim društvima je teško u Hrvatskoj ako se želi baviti izravno kroz Hrvatsku, znači crowdfundingom. Dakle, vi ovdje imate dvije aktivnosti. Jedna aktivnost je prikupljanje novca od puno, nazovimo ih donatora, od puno donatora. U ulozi njih se javljaju fizičke osobe, građani, ali se javljaju i trgovačka društva. To je njima cilj, odnosno to je vama cilj. Prikupiti što više novaca, ne ulaziti u kredite, a možda još nemate mogućnosti koristiti novce iz EU fondova, a vama novac treba da bi započeli biznis. Znači, prvo trebate znati, ok, ja moram osnovati nešto. Uzmimo da ste osnovali trgovačko društvo, DOO ili onaj mali JADO, jednostavni DOO. Dakle, što ste već osnovali. I to je, znači, vaš stvarno start-up, početak. Želite novac, znači, da bi pokrenuli biznis. I sad ste došli preko interneta do ideje, ali su vam prijatelji rekli, postoji ti ta mogućnost da imaš jako veliki broj ulagača koji ćete davati po malo novaca. Neko će ti uplatiti $20, odnosno sad će biti euri, 20 eura, neko će ti uplatiti možda 200, ali ćeš imati možda i trgovačka društva koja će možda uplatiti i više novaca. Dakle, vi dobivate novčana sredstva. Znači, prvo ako dobivate samo novac, jeste im obećali da ćete krenuti u neko istraživanje, u neku proizvodnju. Znači, treba vidjeti da li oni nešto od vas u budućnosti traže. Ako za sada ne traže ništa, nego u vama vide priliku za budućnost, što onda oni vama daju? Daju vam ili poklon, znači bespovratno novac, što je vama prihod, a taj prihod ulazi u osnovicu poreza na dobit. To ne znači da ćete odmah platiti porez na dobit, 10%, jer ste još mali, ne? Jer pitanje je koliko ćete imati troškova. Ako ćete imati puno troškova, pa možda ste još uvijek u gubitku u početnim godinama, nećete platiti porez na dobit. Ali trebate znati da je taj novac koji ga dobivate bez obveze vraćanja i bez obveze ikakve protučinidbe pod porezom na dobit. Štriguliram. Ako vi njima kažete, ma mi ćemo ti to za nekoliko godina vratiti, posebno onima koji daju više.
Dobro,
to da znamo da je, da, toga nema.
Slučaju, ali
ono što vi kažete, da na stranicama piše, znači ko uloži, jel, pod navodnike uloži, ko da, 50 eura, dobit će majicu sa pajopatkom. Je da, ali tada vi njemu isporučujete majicu. I za majicu dobivate novac. Istina je, ta majica je 50 eura ili 150 eura, ali to je isporuka. To je isporuka. To nije promidžba, zato jer vi s druge strane dobivate naknadu. Znači, ta isporuka, ako jeste već u PDV-u, će biti prvo sa PDV-om, treba ispostaviti fakturu, jel' tako?
Ajmo još korak natrag. Ali ako će ta majica biti isporučena na godinu, kad bude napravljena...
Onda vam je to predujam. Onda je to predujam za majicu. Ako predujam, znači, dolazi od hrvatskog građana ili od hrvatskog trgovačkog društva, taj predujam vam je pod PDV-om ako ste u sustavu PDV-a. Prema tome, ne možete prvo izbjeći PDV, znači porez na promet, ili tako, vrsta poreza na promet. Znači, ajmo već da ste se osovili na noge i da već imate neki biznis i sada vi uistinu kažete, znači svima, dajte nam još novaca, mi vam dajemo šalicu, dajemo vam majicu i tako dalje i imamo internet Znači, oglašavamo pod navodnike to putem interneta i tu isporuku radimo kao internetsku prodaju. Prema tome, moramo se registrirati za web trgovinu. Do praga od 77.000 kuna i stranim građanima zaračunavamo naš PDV. Nakon toga, ako smo prešli prag od 77, imamo obvezu registrirati se za potrebe PDV-a ako isporučujemo to građanima zemalja Europske unije u tim zemljama, ili imamo mogućnost, što je zadnjih godinu dana, da uđemo u takozvani OSS sustav, pa da u Hrvatskoj zaračunavamo PDV austrijski, njemački, talijanski, znači po njihovim stopama, ako robu putem web shopa isporučujemo građanima u druge zemlje članice Europske unije. Prema tome, strahovito komplicirano. Ja ću reći još jednu stvar. Gledajte, ništa nije komplicirano. Na vama je samo da slijedite tu svoju viziju. Da slijedite ono zašto imate ideju. Ali da znate da morate naći nekoga ko će vas pratiti. Nekog poreznjaka koji će vam reći, gledaj, moraš napraviti to i to, pazi, oprez 77, hoćemo li ući u OSS. Znači, te neke stvari koje, kao takve, definitivno morate činiti, jer drukčije plaćate kazne. Nažalost, ovo što ste rekli je točno, znači mi nemamo vokabular razrađen iz ove nove termine. Evo, ja obećajem da će krenuti od nas danas inicijativa, znači ne samo da mi, kako vi kažete, o tome pišemo kao RRiF kuća i da malo više vama pomognemo, nego mi to moramo riješiti i sa strane Ministarstva financija. Znači, evo, ja ću, ne baš danas na večer, ali sutra obećajem da ću poslati mail na ministarstvo i objasniti zapravo da smo ušli u to jedno područje kojega moramo dobro i kvalitetno zapravo riješiti da bi mogli raditi.
Ako ja mogu samo nadovezati, vi ste ovo fantastično objasnili i upravo je taj trenutak, znači u pripremi kampanje, kada sam ja spoznao da je to glorificirana ili zamistificirana web trgovina, sve je bilo jasno. Ali to je onaj podatak koji službeno nedostaje. Da se, mi govorimo o reward-based crowdfundingu, on ima dva dijela. Uglavnom, nudi se proizvod ili neki promidžbeni proizvod koji nije vezan s osnovnim proizvodom i jedan dio postoji donacija koje su bez dodatne činidbe. To ste sad objasnili. I zapravo ste u ovom što ste rekli objasnili sukus toga, koji ima puno tih dijelova, ali uglavnom možemo, ako bi se mogli složiti, da mi reward-based crowdfunding možemo prevesti kao web trgovina.
U jednom dijelu da.
Ja mislim da u velikom dijelu.
Da.
Osim donacijskom dijelu.
Osim donacijskom dijelu, tako je. Ali moram reći, znači, sad vi ćete meni, jer gledajte, ja isto tako nisam savladala ove vaše osnovne termine, moram se jako potruditi, ali ono što je govorio kolega Herceg, što je mene to je nešto drugo, ali gledajte, ali nešto drugo, ali za mene isto, želim skupiti novac.
Ali taj dio nam je riješen.
Ali nije riješen u Hrvatskoj.
To nam je tema za drugi panel. Nemojmo to miješati. Ovdje govorimo o reward-based crowdfundingu, pa ćemo prepustiti. Equity-based crowdfunding je nešto drugo i to nam stvarno sa porezne pravne teme nije problematično. I ne može se čak ni usporediti s ovim. To je nešto potpuno drugo.
Ok, ajde onda naglasi, Domagoj, ko je zapravo sad, tu je stvar u reward kampanjama, zapravo crowdfunding kampanjama, a ne kao što su ove na panelima.
Tako, ovdje govorimo o tom tomu da, mislim, uzmemo naš konkretan slučaj, mi smo unaprijed po povoljnoj cijeni tražili ljude da podrže projekt na način da će za novac koji nam daju u budućnosti dobiti tenisice. A ako ne žele tenisice, mogu ostaviti 10, 100 ili 50 eura kao donaciju. I mi smo to vrlo jednostavno knjižili da smo jedan dio stavili na donacije, a dio smo izdali predujmove, izdali smo račune za uplaćeni predujam, poslije smo izdali storno tog računa i konačni račun.
Više ne morate storno.
Više ne moramo storno.
Ne, samo na računu pišete kad je primljeno, koliko je primljeno i tako dalje. Štedimo papir.
A mi smo to na vrlo jednostavan napravan način riješili, ali put do toga da dobijemo tu informaciju je bio težak i ono što zapravo to predstavlja prepreku neiskusnima ili koji se nema s kim savjetovati, jer često ni knjigovodstvo ne razumije da se tu radi o tako jednostavne stvari i onda tu bude prepreka i mnogi odustanu. Ono što bi jedan jasno mišljenje, vodič, članak ili što god vi možete producirati kroz neko vrijeme bi smanjilo te prepreke. Jer u biti one nisu velike. Samo postoji taj neko nejasnoća. Evo,
Domagoj, ti si napravio svoje. Može. Dobro, sad ste vi spomenuli tu puno stvari. Ti si nam ukratko rekao si da sad nećeš ići previše u detalje svoje kampanje. Možeš li samo ukratko reći što je bila kampanja, pa onda možemo dalje s ovim konkretnim pitanjima vezanim uz porez?
Mislim, kampanja je bila vrlo jednostavno. Mislim, nismo imali razvijenu prvu generaciju tenisica, odnosno razvijali smo ju i na Kickstarteru smo lansirali kampanju da ljudi da nas podrže, da uspijemo odraditi prvu seriju proizvodnje. Za to nam je nekakvih 519 bekera, odnosno kupaca, ukupno naručilo 730 pari tenisica i nakon što smo prikupili taj novac, mi smo ih proizveli i isporučili smo im. Mislim, to je demistifikacija crowdfundinga. U biti, uglavnom se radi o tomu da nekomu treba novac da završi neki proizvod ili da odradi neku proizvodnju ili tako dalje, ali eto, to je to. Druga naša kampanja je bila fundraising kampanja kao gospodina Hercega, gdje smo skupili novac za investiciju, ali to je nešto potpuno drugo.
Koliko dugo se čekalo od dana uplate do tenisice?
U našem slučaju, znači mi smo u biti u kampanji, u predstavljanju kampanje jedan dio je planirani timeline kada mi planiramo to isporučiti. Mi smo završili kampanju oko 1.4. Onda smo nakon toga krenuli u narudžbe i mi smo rekli smo da ćemo isporučiti do kraja 6. Isporučili smo sredinom 7. mjeseca. Znači radili su 4 mjeseca možda.
A ko su bili ulagači? Poznati?
Nama poznati ili ne. Vrlo širok miks, puno velikih krug prijatelja, poslovnih suradnika i nepoznatih ljudi. Mislim, imali smo bekere iz cijelog svijeta, najviše naravno iz Hrvatske i Slovenije, ali baš od Amerikanaca, Njemaca, mislim da je bilo Singapura, Hong Konga, cijeli svijet.
Ono što mene zanima, moram priznati, znači od široke ponude tenisica, jel danas se i uz večernje haljine nose tenisice.
Zašto naše?
Pitam se, zašto bih ja riskirala, uplatila novac 4 mjeseca ranije da bih dobila tenisicu koju još koju Jasna nije probala i nije mi dala svoje iskustvo i a njega ne poznajem ga. Znači, ja riskiram, uplatim te tenisice, čekam na njih 4 mjeseca. Ako kupujem za dijete, možda mu je malo i nogica narasla u ta 4 mjeseca. I dolaze tenisice koje mi možda neće biti ok. Ok, mogu vratiti, jel tako? Kao u svakoj internetskoj prodaji mogu vratiti. Ali ja sam 4 mjeseca čekala. A novac danas vrijedi više nego novac sutra, zapamtite. U doba inflacije to je temeljno pravilo. Novac danas vrijedi više nego novac sutra. A vi mi niste dali nikakvu kamatu. Jer sam ja manje uplatila
nego nema
za
nikakve garancije da ćete vi moj proizvod dobiti. Zapravo postoje ogromne šanse da ga neće ni napraviti. Pa vidite, zato nije svako da podupire kampanju na Kickstarteru.
Ja bi se samo htjela još uključiti sa komentarom. To je ono što smo imali u prošlom panelu.
To je moj odgovor.
što su rekli da treba zapravo napraviti priču iz toga i to je zapravo ono što ljudi podržavaju.
Prvo, mislim, svaki projekt koji se lansira, iza njega postoji određena strast i pitanje je koliko ćete prenesti tu strast na nekog drugog da on tu vašu strast osjeti. Mi smo radili jedan jedinstven proizvod, još uvijek radimo jedan jedinstven proizvod s kojim su se mnogi ljudi poistovjetili i htjeli su postati dio te priče. Mi radimo obuću koja je najprirodnija obuća na svijetu, potpuno neškodljiva za ljudsko zdravlje i okoliš. I ljudi su prepoznali da je to nešto što vrijedi podupreti, pa makar riskirali svojih 80 eura, ali zato je taj pool ljudi jako veliki, ne morate dobiti sve, nego morate dobiti samo neke. To je ljepota Kickstartera, kroz njega su se lansirali vrhunski projekti. Mi smo imali malu kampanju i pitanje hoćemo li ponovo ići na Kickstarter, ali mislim da je to jedno nezaboravno iskustvo koje vrijedi za uvijek.
Zato sam ti rekla, Domagoj, da moraš malo više predstaviti svoju kampanju da bi drugi znali točno o čemu je riječ. Sad si spomenuo da ne bi išao na Kickstarter, opet zašto?
Ne da ne bi išao, nego u ovoj fazi. Sad nećemo ići na Kickstarter, ali jednog dana sigurno ponovo. Kad dođe, a ne znam li niko zna kad će doći Kickstarter kod nas, je li blizu?
Tražiš odgovor od nekoga.
Malo.
Vidimo ko sliježe ramenima. Aha, da, čekamo. Niko će doći na scenu uskoro. Baš sam razmišljala o tome da smo ga trebali tu postaviti odmah u početak. A tu je.
Hype smo digli do kraja.
Ok, dobro, evo sad kad smo prošli jako tu puno tema, ja imam nekakva konkretna pitanja, pa sad vi možete, ti Domagoj, možeš mi tu malo pomoći oko tog dijela koliko je zapravo to relevantno. Dakle, imate knjiženje donacija za bekere, odnosno podržavatelje crowdfunding kampanje koji ne odaberu proizvod kao nagradu, dakle, ne na primjer tenisice. Molim?
To smo pokrili, da.
Rekli smo to je da, njima prije.
Ali evo ja bi se samo uključila. Mi smo sada uglavnom spominjali fizičke osobe koje sudjeluju, ali ako se tu uključe pravne osobe, onda to za njih baš i nije povoljno. Pogotovo ako je riječ o donaciji, zato što trgovačka društva mogu donirati, ali s poreznog motrišta im se isplati donirati samo onima za koga je to dopušteno. Znači, to su opće korisne svrhe, humanitarne organizacije, obrazovanje, sport i to. Ako trgovačko društvo daruje novac drugom trgovačkom društvu, onda je to za njega nepriznati trošak. Znači, njemu se to realno ne isplati. Ako dobije za taj novac neki proizvod, pitanje je što će on dalje s tim proizvodom. Tako da tu se postavlja smotrište trgovačkog društva koje bi htjelo sudjelovati u svemu tome, još niz pitanja.
To je ono što ste rekli na početku zapravo, da nije baš isplativo trgovačkim društvima, dok je neprofitabilnim organizacijama je.
Pa neprofitne organizacije su upravo zbog takvih razloga i osnovane. Dakle, neprofitne organizacije, kao što smo imali primjer sad ovdje, one normalno mogu prikupiti sredstva za obavljanje svoje djelatnosti, a njihova djelatnost je primjerice, ako sam dobro shvatila za ovu neprofitnu organizaciju, inkluzija određene skupine osoba. Dakle, to je njima normalno primitak, oni nisu, jer ne obavljaju gospodarsku djelatnost, u ovome sustavu poreza na dobit, nisu niti u PDV-u. Znači, oni su jedan drugi sustav koji bi trebalo jako dobro razlikovati u odnosu na poslovne subjekte, trgovačka društva.
Evo da, upravo to što sad govorite, ja sam izvukla iz vodiča za crowdfundere iz 2017. i upravo stoji to što ste vi sad rekli, pa sam vas htjela pitati jel to još uvijek vrijedi. Dakle, od 2017. se zapravo to nije promijenilo. To se nije promijenilo,
to je u biti bit neprofitnih organizacija, no međutim, nažalost, kod nas jako puno neprofitnih organizacija se osniva, a nemaju tu opće korisnu svrhu. I u biti se prikriva neka gospodarska djelatnost, čime oni u biti postaju jedan vid nelojalne konkurencije trgovačkim društvima. Tako da je to, nažalost, možemo reći jedna malo siva zona, jer ako vi plaćate članstvo za nešto i dobivate protučinidbu za to, onda to nije bit neprofitne organizacije. To nije članarina bez protučinidbe. Dobijete nešto, znači taj netko ko vam to pruža mora vidjeti svoj status smotrišta poreza. A to je kod nas, nažalost, svašta se događa.
Da, ali u ovom dijelu čak neprofitni, znači ako se ona jednim dijelom i bavi gospodarskom djelatnošću, ona može, znači do jedne razine ostvarenja ovoga prihoda, plaćati porez na dobit na tu gospodarsku djelatnost u paušalnoj svoti, što je povoljnije u odnosu na ovoga trgovačka društva, da, ako ispunjava uvjete. Pa tako da bi onda neprofitne organizacije u jednom dijelu, ajmo reći, čak i mogle ići u ovom smjeru da ostvaruju dobitak od prodaje takvih nekih svojih proizvoda, prikupljajući ova sredstva na ovakav način. Ali velim, za trgovačka društva, znači možemo samo kod prikupljanja sredstava ići ili na predujmove ako će dobiti, znači u budućnosti neki proizvod kao što je bilo kod vas, ili znači na donacije koje će vama biti ovoga prihod. Da.
Ja bih samo sam tu dodao nešto što sam zaboravio reći, da kod pripreme crowdfunding kampanja, znači imamo zapravo dva problema. Jedan je to nepoznavanje i neznanje, ali ono generira jedan drugi problem. Kada mi te proizvod nudimo gore i prodajemo, trebamo definirati neku cijenu i ta cijena je uglavnom puno povoljnija nego što će biti jednog dana u slobodnoj prodaji. To je u biti jedan poticaj za ljude da sudjeluju i zapravo oni ko organizira kampanju treba jako pametno postaviti cijene, a to su ti perkovi, cijene određenih perkova. I ako neko zanemari situaciju da će morat platiti PDV na taj dio ili da ako je prodaje Amerikancu neće platiti PDV, ako prodaje Njemcu i Hrvatu platit će PDV, da često crowdfunderi krivo procijene i odrede cijenu svojih perkova i poslije budu neugodno iznenađeni sa troškovima koje moraju platiti.
Da.
I to je jako bitno, zato to istraživanje je priprema prije nego što lansirate kampanju. Isto vrijedi i za troškove slanja koje jako morate dobro procijeniti.
To je u biti ono što smatram da bi svi trebali imati koji kreću uopće u to, barem minimum onog znanja vezanog uz pravila poslovanja, i to je izračunati sebi točku pokrića, znači koliko ih moram prodati da bi se pokrio i općenito razmišljati o troškovima. I tu mislim da je jako važno uključiti u taj proces osobe koje imaju znanje za to, a ne da, što se često u praksi događa, neki porezni stručnjak ili knjigovođa je zadnji koji se uključuje u sve to. I onda on mora raspetljati nešto u čemu nije od početka sudjelovao i možda nije mogao dati kvalitetni savjet kako sve to pokriti.
Da, jer gledajte, stvari u tome da vi nećete imati samo troškove koji su izravno vezani za taj proizvod. Znači, ne možemo gledati samo na cijenu koštanja proizvoda. Vi imate i one opće troškove, režijske troškove, znači koji su vam vezani za troškove kampanje, za promidžbu, za održavanje web stranice, znači koji kasnije od početka, odnosno i kasnije ne ovise o količini prodanih proizvoda. To su fiksni troškovi koji vi jednostavno morate pokrivati. Tako da definitivno jedan poslovni plan, to znaju oni koji kreću u korištenje sredstava iz europskih fondova, da moraju jako dobro napraviti i predstaviti poslovni plan. Ali ovdje se pokazuje poslovni plan kao nešto što nam je stvarno realno potrebno da bi krenuli u taj biznis, jel?
Ja bih se nadovezao sa jednom parabolom kako ja opisujem crowdfunding, sa usponom na Everest. Nije uspješan uspon na Everest kada dođete na vrh, nego kad se živi vratite u base camp. A to u crowdfundingu znači u startu skupio si novac, ali da li si stvarno osigurao si sve uvjete da ćeš na kraju imati dovoljno vremena i resursa da taj proizvod isporučiš onako kako je trebao biti, da su kupci zadovoljni. A to je financijski dio ključan i to financijsko planiranje je bitno i onda upravo kada se crowdfunderima neiskusnima dogodi to da ne izračunu troškove slanja, da ne uzmu u obzir PDV ili bilo kakve druge troškove koje su vezani za poslovni plan, onda zapravo kampanja u konačnici bude neuspješna jer proizvod ne bude isporučen. Tako da, evo, mislim još jednom to potvrđuje potrebu za demistifikacijom toga i to svođenje na jedan jezik koji bi mnogima onda pomogao putem. Ja.
Evo, ja imam jedno pitanje. Koja je potrebna dokumentacija za pravdanje sredstava?
I to smo pokrili, je li tako?
Znači, kad imamo isporuku, kada imamo, znači, ako je ona varijanta što je gospodin pričao, znači, kad dobivamo novac sa namjerom da nakon toga isporučujemo tenisice koje će se proizvesti. Znači, onda je to novac koji je nama predujam, trebamo izdati račun za predujam. Ako je s druge strane uplatitelj sredstava rezident, znači hrvatski građanin ili hrvatsko trgovačko društvo. Ako je riječ o strancu, njemu fizički ne moramo izdavati račun za predujam. Nakon toga, kada tenisice isporučimo, ispostavljamo redovni račun za isporuku, možda smo, ako smo u sustavu PDV-a, obračunavamo PDV, ako nismo u sustavu PDV-a, nema PDV-a, naravno. I rekla sam, ne mora se raditi storno računa za predujam, nego se na ovom redovnom računu, znači samo napiše da je primljen predujam po računu tom i tom, dana toga i toga, u toliko i toliko svoti. Međutim, vidite koja je to papirologija, znači mi moramo ispostavljati račune. Sad se postavlja pitanje, a što je sa onima koji daju novac bez ikakve protučinidbe? Jel' tako? Oni nama pošalju neku malu svoticu. Znači, što je to? Ako im ne moramo vratiti, rekla sam, to je onda zapravo nama poklon koji nam je neko poklonio. U tom slučaju ne moramo ispostavljati apsolutno nikakvu ispravu, to evidentiramo na prihode i to je onda vrlo, vrlo jednostavno. Da,
ali obratiti pozornost na to da stvarno iza toga nema isporuke. Da, to je važno dokazati, da on nije ništa primio u slučaju nekog nadzora.
I biti oprezan da čak tim našim ljudima koji su, posebno građanima, koji su našim prijateljima, koji su nam uplaćivali, rekli, ma niš mi ne moraš dati, a onda ste vi nakon nekog vremena kad su te tenisice krenule, odlučili ipak nešto njima pokloniti. Znači, dati, ovo ti je promidžba, pa se onda sjetite, tamo negdje piše u poreznom propisu do 160 kuna ako se poklanja predmet, smatra se promidžbom i nije pod PDV-om. Međutim, taj vaš prijatelj je prije vama doznačio neki novac. Doznačio vam je novac. To niste klasificirali kao pozajmicu, nego vam je on dao novce. A sada vi njemu ipak nešto dajete. Možda ne tenisice, ali mu dajete promo majicu ili tako nešto. Gledajte, taj građanin nije vaš poslovni partner. Znači, da bi to uzmimo bila reprezentacija. Možete reći, ja mu to dajem kao promidžbu, ali ako vam dođe nadzor, reći će, čekaj, njima petorici, ti si dao te majice, ali baš ta petorica su tebi bila uplatila neka sredstva prije 7 mjeseci. Nije li to ipak bila neka isporuka sa naknadom koja je prije toga došla? Tako da je to vrlo, vrlo osjetljivo. Naravno, kažem, ako dođe porezni nadzor, uvijek imate ono APP, ako prođe, prođe i niko ne dođe, ali je problem ako dođe. Jel? Tu morate biti jako, jako pažljivi, jer tad će oni to proglasiti prodajom. Jel tako?
Tako je.
Da.
Evo, Domagoj, tebe ću onda iskoristiti ovdje kao jednu membranu za pitanja. Zapravo, vi tek kad ste krenuli s tim pred 3 godine, što vam se prvo motalo po glavi i gdje ste vi zapravo otišli? Rekao si da vam je Albert pomogao u tome, ali što je prethodilo tome? Gdje je pomoć stigla?
Pa mislim, ja sam na kraju sam, kako bih rekao, prokljuvio koja je prava priroda toga. Meni je samo trebala potvrda od nekoga drugoga da je to. Onda sam se čuo sa Albertom, čuo sam se sa Srđanom Kovačevićem iz Orke, koji su upravo to ovako ispravno odradili i na koji način sam onda ja to ispravno odradio. Ali moram reći da sam se savjetovao sa mnogima koji su provodili kampanje i da neki nisu tako provodili. Tako da je bio isto, imao sam dobar knjigovodstveni servis u tom trenutku koji mi nije mogao dati savjet što da napravim, ali kada sam ja prezentirao što mislim napraviti, onda su rekli, da, imaš pravo, to je okej. Opet, to je sve bilo duže nego što se čini, jer u startu nismo, mislim, sama ta ideja što ljude još, znate što ljude plaši, evo, da možda dodam još to pitanje. Sad tamo dođu neki novci iz Amerike. Mislim, ljudi imaju pitanje, sad su došli ti novci iz Amerike, kak da ja se sad pravdam? Mislim, to je vrlo jednostavno. Evo, u našem slučaju Niko je bio posrednik koji je za svoju uslugu ostavio neku naknadu, za to je izdao račun i to je sve čisto ostatak. Ja ovako objašnjavam ljudima da sam novac koji je ušao mora biti jednak svim računima i donacijama koje su izašle van, jel tako? Da to pojednostavimo. Ako smo dobili $100,000, u konačnici na kraju moramo isfakturirati i staviti na donacije ukupni iznos od $100,000.
Znači,
tako?
Ili na donacije, tako je, na darove, ili na isporuku, znači ono što budemo fakturirali, a jel pozajmica nemamo?
Ne, u ovom slučaju nije.
Znači onda je tako, ili je isporuka, ili je fakturirano, znači, ili je donacija.
Ali ljudima to tako čini nekako strano, jer sami sebi često pomiješaju, kao svi to zovemo donacija, ali to u suštini crowdfunding kao takav nije donacijski, nego je više e-commerce. Protučinidbeni. I dok smo to shvatili, onda nam bilo jasno. Sada mene već puno ljudi zvalo na tu temu i mnogima sam ja to objasnio, pa im bilo lakše. Ali evo, to je dosta bilo kompleksno. I ono što ste vi rekli, mi nismo kretali u kampanju prije nego što smo se kompletno raščistili taj dio. I to preporučujem svima. Budite sigurni da ste si pravni oblik osnovali, da ste si ispravno postavili cijene, da znate što vas čeka dokumentacijski i onda krenete u kampanju. To je to. No.
To je ukratko jedan sažetak. Dobro, možemo li zaključiti da onda to nije toliki bauk?
Apsolutno nije.
Ne.
Ja se slažem, jer ako se obrati netko pravoj osobi sa znanjem, neće biti bauk. Samo treba znati što se želi i koje su posljedice toga.
U čim ćemo posljedice, odmah nam zvuči malo opasno, ali dobro.
Aktivnosti.
Okay. Dobro, evo, Domagoj, ti si preživio sve te kampanje, tako da ti si nam živi slučaj da je to sve ok. Mada taj početak, ko što smo mogli čuti, ti nije baš prošao glatko.
Ali Domagoj ima jednu veliku prednost. On je znao, znači on je razmišljao što želi i mislim da je sa time vrlo brzo raščistio. Želim to, to i to. A onda je počeo razmišljati što treba zadovoljiti da bi zapravo ostvario ono što želi. I on je pravilno artikulirao svoja pitanja. On je znao što želi pitati i on je znao kako pitati.
Ali to je iznimka i to je sreća što sam ja imao tu edukaciju, ali priroda ljudi koji idu u crowdfunding nije takva i ne bi trebala biti takva. Crowdfunding je zapravo za entuzijaste i zašto je Kickstarter, zašto Indiegogo postoje, da ljudima koji nemaju pristup poslovnom znanju nećemo omogući ih pojednostaviti. To je ono kako Amerikanci svemu prilaze i za njih je Kickstarter strašno jednostavan. I onda ono što je zadatak zapravo svih nas koji smo kroz to prošli i vas iz struke je kako ljudima upravo to objasniti, da oni ne moraju promišljati o tim pitanjima, nego da ipak neke stvari dobe servirano. Onda ćemo imati umjesto 3 kampanje u Hrvatskoj godišnje, imat ćemo ih 12 i iznosi neće biti po $100,000, nego će biti veći, jer u konačnici neće možda morati angažirati nekoga ko zna.
Ali pazite, Amerikanac uvijek pita na početku i na kraju jedno pitanje, najvažnije pitanje. A koliko ja poreza moram platiti? Dakle, u Americi je to najvažnije pitanje kad se kreće u biznis. Pitanje poreza, ljudi. To što kod nas se uopće ne postavlja kad se kreće u biznis. Znate, a u Americi je najvažnije područje poreza. Jer znate kako se kaže, tamo ako vas jednom uhvate da ne platite porez, nikada više niti u jednoj državi United Statesa nećete moći otvoriti biznis. A kod nas propadne jedna firma, otvarate drugu firmu, ta propadne, otvarate treću, paralelno ih imate 5, od toga dvije propadaju. Dakle, i vi ponovo možete otvarati biznise.
Serijski poduzetnici. Ok, evo, mislim da smo sada došli do kraja ove naše rasprave. Mene sad zanima, ima li možda još koje pitanje iz publike? Evo, imamo nekoliko ruku u zraku. Evo, predajem ti mikrofon.
Evo ga, stižem. Jeste vi? I onda imamo tu iza negdje, jel tako?
Hvala vam. Ja imam pitanje, kakva je penalizacija ukoliko postoji za neuspješne kampanje? i sa strane platformi i sa strane kako se to porezno onda nakon toga
mislim, govorimo o kampanji koja nije uspjela isporučiti. Znači,
tako je.
Aha, okay.
Znači ne kampanje koja nije uspjela sakupiti novce, nego koja nije uspjela isporučiti to što je...
Gledajte, upravo jako dobro pitanje, zato što, evo, baš u pandemijskom vremenu jako puno sada kampanja, pogotovo koje su bile vezane za fizičke proizvode koji nisu bili do kraja razvijeni ili koji su uključivali, na primjer, čipove ili tako neke stvari koje su suočeni sa velikim problemima u dobavnim lancima, nemogućnost nabave nekih komponenti ili dugo čekanje gdje se u međuvremenu kapital pojede kroz fiksne troškove. Znači, postoje razni razlozi zašto bi kampanja bila na kraju neuspješna ili postoje kampanje koje su, ajmo reći, poluprevare, jel? Naravno da tu postoji rizik. Koliko ja znam, prave penalizacije nema i Kickstarter kao platforma nije odgovoran. Tu se neke stvari mijenjaju, a mislim da će to biti pitanje za naše Keynote prezenter ako zna više o tomu, ali koliko ja znam, penalizacije nema. To je dosta veliki rizik zapravo na backerima. Jel? I to nije rijetko. To je vrlo često je da kampanje se ne izguraju do kraja. Tako da penalizacije kao neke kazne ili kao kaznene odgovornosti ne postoje. Imat ćete užasno puno negativnih komentara na internetu i vaše ime će biti vezano uz neuspjeli projekt. I opet je onda još jedna stvar. Da li možete dokazati posao u komunikaciji da je projekt neuspio zbog vanjskih okolnosti na koje niste mogli utjecati, tipa rata u Ukrajini, pandemije i tako dalje, ili će se smatrati da ste stvarno uzeli novce i pobjegli. To je nešto kaj se eventualno može dogoditi, znači šteta za ugled. Ali isto naravno, ako to napraviš više nemaš poslije budućnost u idućim projektima, jer za vječno si označen. Samo da kažem jednu stvar, kod Kickstartera je cool to da i uspješne i neuspješne kampanje su vječno na internetu. I koliko god vaš SEO bil jak, znači koliko god je vaš brand jak, vaša Kickstarter kampanja će biti uvijek u top 3 rezultata u Google searchu. I kogod vas traži, uvijek će vidjeti vašu kampanju bila uspješna ili neuspješna. Tako da, mislim, to je najveća kazna u konačnici. Jel?
Ali to je zaštita za buduće, nazovimo ih, ulagače, jel tako?
Tako je.
Ali ovo što je gospodin pitao, vi gubite. Znači, na toj prvoj razini, na tom prvom levelu vi gubite, koji ste dali povjerenje. Ono što se njemu može dogoditi je da mu propadne trgovačko društvo. Znači, on čak ima sada mogućnost da znači, prestane sa poslovanjem po skraćenom postupku, znači briše ga se. On prema vama, znači ako je primio novac s time da vam mora isporučiti tenisice, on ima prema vama obvezu, znači za primljeni predujam. Pa onda u tom slučaju ne bi mogao po skraćenom postupku, nego bi vjerojatno ušao u stečaj. Ali to znači za ključ u bravu. Dakle, vi ste preuzeli na sebe taj rizik, ali zahvaljujući vama, jel tako, i nažalost njemu koji je taj novac objektivno ili subjektivno zapravo izgubio, svi drugi... Domagoj, nisam mislila to. Nisam mislila to. Znači, detko, evo da Jasna odluči krenuti u to,
uvijek ja.
Pa ne ide. U tom slučaju, znači, svi drugi stvarno se vežu za njegovo ime, jel tako, odnosno njezino ime, i mogu u budućnosti, znači, prestati uopće poželjeti ili one ko želi ulagati će vidjeti da nije mudro uložiti vezano za to ime. Ali trgovačko društvo, gledajte, propada i znači, takav neuspješni osnivač trgovačkog društva će, malo prije sam rekla, otvoriti drugo trgovačko društvo ako se i dalje želi baviti privatnim biznisom. Nikomu to neće zabraniti u Hrvatskoj. I to je problem. Znate, to je kod nas još uvijek problem. Da.
Tu smo. Imamo ovdje još jedno pitanje.
Može, evo, dobar dan svima. Ja dolazim iz ovog nesivog dijela neprofitnog sektora, pa ću evo svakako zamoliti da nakon mojih svih pitanja, ako možete da se dodatno referirate na taj okvir poreznog tretmana, znači prikupljanja donacija. Vjerujem da su to onda u tom slučaju samo donacije kad je neprofitni sektor u pitanju preko crowdfunding kampanja. Imam također pitanje vezano uz tehničko funkcioniranje kampanja. Kako, na koji se račun prikuplja novac? Da li se novac koji donator ili osobe koje žele podržati kampanju prikuplja na nekakve bankovne račune tih crowdfunding platformi ili direktno na račun organizacije pravne osobe ili fizičke osobe koja je pokrenula tu kampanju? Znači taj dio mi nije jasan. Također, s obzirom evo na taj odgovor koji bude na ovo moje prethodno pitanje, kako sami donatori u ovom našem slučaju neprofitnih organizacija mogu pravdati i prikazati te donacije?
Mogu krenuti s odgovorom?
Može, evo sad možete.
Evo ovako, što se tiče neprofitnih organizacija. Neprofitne organizacije primaju donacije i ta donacija ima karakter donacije ako za to neće onaj tko je dao novac dobiti nikakvu protučinidbu. Dakle, on to daje zato što želi nešto podržati. Ako taj netko tko daje trgovačko društvo, a ta neprofitna organizacija je humanitarnog, obrazovnog, znanstvenog, školstva i tako dalje, sportsko, on može to iskoristiti na neki način kao trošak koji mu je priznat u njegovom poslovanju ako je ukupna vrijednost donacija koje je dao u godini do 2% ukupnog prihoda prošle godine. Poanta je u tome, dakle, da nema nikakve protučinidbe. Čim netko za neki novac koji je dao dobije nešto, to onda više nije donacija.
Dobro, što u slučaju, ne znam, slanja zahvalnice? Spomenuli ste gospođa Jurić, ako se ne varam.
Zahvalnica nije problem. Zahvalnica je nešto što je uobičajeni način komunikacije, pa čak i uobičajeno da neprofitne organizacije onima koji su im donatori daju potvrdu o donaciji koju su primili, kako bi, recimo, i ako je riječ o fizičkoj osobi, mogla to osoba iskoristiti za smanjenje plaćanja poreza. Znači, fizičke osobe mogu na neki način imati koristi od toga, a neprofitne organizacije kod sebe vode evidenciju. Tako da dati zahvalnicu u obliku nekog dokumenta i dati potvrdu je uobičajeno. Ali ako se uz to, dakle, ako vi primite donaciju od primjerice 50 kuna, a meni kao osobi za to ste dali nešto, onda to nije više donacija.
Dobro, jasno.
To bi trebalo jako razlikovati. Ne samo i kod neprofitnih organizacija, već i kod ostalih.
Znači, u biti, u našem slučaju su to zapravo sve normalne donacije, je li tako?
Da,
ne može biti nikakva druga opcija u nekom smislu da bi mogli ući pod nekakvu poreznu obavezu.
Ako vi dajete, dakle, svojim donatorima što točno? Samo zahvalnicu, ili?
Da.
Samo zahvalnicu, ali zahvalnica je, dakle, komad papira na kojem ste vi napisali da im se zahvaljujete.
Dobro, a ovo što sam prethodno pitala, ne znam, ako vi ne znate, ako netko možda iz publike zna, u ovom nije mi jasno da li ako se preko kampanje prikupi određeni iznos novaca, da li periodično platforma to isplaćuje nama kao organizaciji ili to nekako je direktno povezan naš bankovni račun. Evo, to mi je ovako dosta bitno za organizaciju.
Pa mislim, vjerojatno za neprofitno, tu se ne radi vjerojatno o Kickstarteru, to bi se radilo o Indiegogu koji isto nije dostupan u Hrvatskoj ili o nekim drugim, ima dosta platformi, kako se zove, Crowinvest ili tako nešto. Mislim, koliko ja znam, to se jednokratno isplaćuje, taj iznos donacija. Mislim, pitala si i na čiji račun se isplaćuje. Mislim, to stvarno je pitanje ko je nositelj kampanje. Znači, da li ako je nositelj kampanje udruga, onda na račun udruge. Ako je to fizička osoba, može, iako je to jasno navedeno.
Dobro, ali ako u kampanju se uključi 1000 ljudi koji će po 50 kuna uplatiti, da li ću ja na svom bankovnom računu od svoje organizacije ja ću imati samo jednu uplatu?
Upravo to je poanta platforme. Platforma je mjesto gdje se svi skupe da bi tebi došlo odjednom. Ja, znači tebi će doći jedna uplata, osim ako radiš, mislim, crowdfunding ili donacijski može se napraviti tako da stvarno pozoveš ljude da ti uplaćuju na neki račun udruge gdje će svako uplati po 50 kuna. Ali ako koristiš platformu, onda ćeš dobiti jednu uplatu agregiranu na svoj račun.
Dobro, evo i sad konačno pitanje za porezne savjetnice. Znači, mene će moje računovodstvo pitati kako vam je sad to uplata, oni nisu u to upućeni i ja im mogu reći, ok, ne morate brinuti, to je iz crowdfunding kampanje, to nema nikakvo porezno opterećenje.
Pa imaš neku, imat ćeš ispis transakcija,
ako će biti
hoće li taj ispis tih transakcija, pitanje da li će to biti prikladna računovodstvena temeljnica?
Hoće li platforma dati popis uplatitelja?
Ne, pa mislim u našem slučaju, sad ja stvarno imam iskustvo samo sa Kickstarterom, ja dobijam jednu uplatu, imam neki popis, ali nije bitno, meni je bitno da sam ja izdao pojedinačne račune.
Ne, ali sad to je tehničko pitanje
pa
sada.
je tehničko
pitanje, primjerice kao da pitamo kada nam Diners ili PBZ Visa doznačuje utržak, doznačuje nam u jednoj svoti, jel tako? Ali mi po izdanim računima znamo koliko smo računa pojedinačno ispostavili, a ove nam ispostavi, ne znam, 20.000 kuna. I specifikaciju. Znači, da li nama ta platforma daje neku specifikaciju ili nam samo uplati novac sa nekim kratkim opisom?
Ne, imamo specifikaciju.
Imamo specifikaciju. Znači, ta specifikacija će nam biti dovoljna da našem knjigovođi damo, da kažemo, evo, ovo su znači donacije, jer to su zapravo donacije, jel? Znači, osoba koje su preko platforme nama uplatile za tu i tu namjenu. Vi čak možete osnovati otvoriti još jedan žiro račun za tu neku posebnu namjenu, tako da onda sa te platforme ide na taj izdvojeni žiro račun, da se ne bi miješalo s onim vašim redovnim žiro računom, pa tako bi onda to bilo još i transparentnije, jel?
Da, slažem se.
Da, ok, hvala puno.
Mislim da je sada ok da stanemo sa pitanjima i da idemo dalje. Hvala našim panelistima i panelisticama. Mislim da ste odgovorili na dosta pitanja. Hoćete ih fotografirati kao paneliste? Sada ponovno prelazimo na engleski, so let's get back to English. So what do you say that we play a little game now? Okay, now you will have to guess a person. I don't think it's going to be very hard, but if I tell you that this person used to play basketball in Basketball Club Olympia, that his passion is entrepreneurship, sport travel, art, also growing tropical fruits from pit to fruit, would you guess who it is? I will give you just a little bit more clues. So, he's also an entrepreneur, advisor, and investor. He co-founded several successfully funded startups and completed several exits. FlyCly Smart Wheel was launched on Kickstarter and became among the top 100 most funded Kickstarter projects at that time. He lived, studied, and worked in the EU, USA, and Asia, and he's the one who we have been mentioning this whole day. So please, Niko, welcome. It is your turn. I believe you will have to answer a lot of questions, but I think you are well prepared, so enjoy.
All right, thank you. It was really my pleasure to be here in person. I meet many of you online. We worked, but today is the day that we meet in person, so super happy. Maybe before I start, just one thing from the panel I'll add to it regarding when the Kickstarter is coming to Croatia. So there's basically a few things what Kickstarter looks for. One is the Stripe payment, which I believe that Stripe payment got to Croatia last year, I believe, and now the next thing is really Kickstarter to decide to come here. So I was working on Kickstarter to come to Slovenia for 7 years. So finally in 2020 we got it, and so I'm in Kickstarter Slack, so definitely about once a month I ping them and ask them when is the time for Croatia to open. So one of the reasons what they also look for is great projects. So that's your job to bring great projects and launch them on Kickstarter, so that Kickstarter sees, and then they will figure out that this is a good market to open. Also, one thing to know that there's only 25 countries now that Kickstarter is open, that is available. So it's still a lot countries to go. So, but I believe that the 26 could be Croatia. So let's hope for the 2023 to be that year. Okay. So yeah, I'll talk today about crowdfunding, metaverse, Web3, blockchain, and all around. So just a few things about me. So my first Kickstarter campaign was in 2012. It was the first successful Slovenian Kickstarter campaign. It was not mine, but I was part of it. We learned everything, what not to do, but we were successful enough to reach the goal. And then since then, we managed to do many different campaigns. So till today, I helped more than 100 successful Kickstarter campaigns, helped them to raise over $30 million. And I run many different talks, boot camps, and so on. And this is my way to give back to the community, to share the knowledge. So my idea is that, and I'm really happy that we did this in Slovenia, and I see that this is happening also in Croatia, is that if you are launching and thinking about launching a crowdfunding campaign, reach out to the guys who already did it, and they will definitely reply and share the knowledge with you. And this is, we help each other so that we're not doing the same mistakes. In Slovenia, this is really, the community happened like this, that we are very open, and the success rate on Kickstarter is about 35%. In Slovenia is 45%. And this is because we share the knowledge. And I believe that Croatia is doing the same. So I'm super proud of all of you guys who already launched and have a successful campaign that is sharing back the knowledge. So yeah, so I was part of many different Kickstarter campaigns and crowdfunding campaigns, but first I would like to tell you a little bit more about the crowdfunding. We are all talking about Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but there's many different ways how crowdfunding works, or different ways of crowdfunding. So I have here 5. So first one is crowdsourcing. So crowdsourcing is really to get ideas or solutions from the crowd. So to give you an example, so the good platform for that is OpenIDEO. And to give you a good example, NASA. So NASA was trying to solve a problem for many years about the sunbursts and the satellites. So, and they couldn't figure it out. The best thing they could do was to sense 2 minutes before it hit the satellites to close the satellite. So they were thinking like what to do with all their scientists and doctors and people in the NASA. So one day they decided to put that problem on the crowdsourcing platform. In about 2 weeks, they got like thousands of solutions. Of course, 99% of them were not good. About 300 were interesting. So about then they closed it down to 10, and then this 10 they took it back to the NASA, and for about 3 months they were testing it, and they figured it out that one of them was able to bring them, that they were able to sense the sunburst 8 hours before it hit the satellite. And this idea came from just one random guy from New Jersey. The only thing they know about him was that his profile photo on this platform, which is he's sitting on the sofa with a cat like this, and had no relations with the space or anything. But he helped NASA to solve this not by two minutes, but 8 hours. So, and this is the power of crowd. So that's crowdsourcing. So definitely, if you have great ideas or solutions, go to these places and help to solve problems like this. There are definitely also rewards for that as well that you can earn. Next one is crowd giving. So maybe for the lady at the back that was talking about the donations. So crowd giving, one of the famous platforms for that is GoFundMe. So crowd giving is really to raise for causes and charities. Most likely we all know, like sometimes, the campaigns when they're collecting money for a child to get the operation and things like that. So that would be a use case. So to give you one use case that I did, so I used to play basketball, hated running. Then, of course, I decided, why not run marathon, right? So I wanted to sign up for New York Marathon. Of course, it's a lottery. I didn't make it. But I talked to a friend of mine who works for a charity, and they have this thing that if I raise enough money for their charity, I get a ticket to run a New York Marathon. The price was $2,500. So what I did, I created an account on GoFundMe, or it was, I think it was GoFundMe. I said that I'm going to run a New York Marathon. I need to raise $2,500, share it on my social networks. In about 2 weeks, I got $2,600 from my friends, like $10, $30, $50. I promised them to put all their names on the T-shirt at the back, and that I'm going to run the marathon. I did, so the money from the GoFundMe went directly to the charity, and I got the ticket, and in 2016, I went and ran a New York Marathon. Since then, I ran also Berlin Marathon and Tokyo Marathon, and I'm still wearing that T-shirt. And also a good conversation starter is that at the kilometer 37, where I was doubting myself, why am I doing this? Why am I running? A lady ran by me and started asking me about the literacy partners. So we talked about for 2 kilometers, and then I was like, oh, I'm already there. So she helped me. So that's a nice story. Okay, crowd investing. So we talked a lot today about the crowd investing with the gentleman here. So the crowd investing is really to get the funding from crowd and give them back the equity, right? The most famous one is Seeders, and here is a good example. A good example is Revolut. You probably all know about Revolut. So in, I think it was 2013 or 2013, yeah. They were doing a new round of funding, and they said, you know what, we have really good, loyal customers. Let's put a little % of that round and offer it to our customers, of users of Revolut. So, and they did it through Seeders, and they raised £3.8 million. So users were able to participate in that round. As you can see today, if you invested 100 euros at that time, today we would have $50,000 euros at that time, today. So this is a great way to, if you are a company with a lot of users or very dedicated users, and if you are fundraising, put a little % also to them to be part of it, right? Revolut did this, and they just make even stronger bond with their users. And then we have crowd lending. So crowd lending is really loans, right? So you can get a loan from the crowd. The famous one is Mintos. It's very simple. Instead, it's like a bank. You come there, they will figure it out how risky you are, and then they will put a percentage of interest there, and then crowd comes and they look for some deals like this and decide maybe to invest or to loan you the money. So it's both ways. It's good if you are looking to earn, to invest. You can also do it through lending to the other people, or like if you are looking for a loan, you can also go here. So, and it's basically for any kind of things. I've seen people not smart, not investment advice, but the people raising funds for getting a loan to go out and party, right? So it's like, could be a really small thing, it was more a joke, and also for like your company and so on, and everything in between. This. And then we have crowdfunding. So as you are probably listening today a lot, rewards-based donations, right? So, but what does this really mean? So the most famous one are Kickstarter and Indiegogo. I'll give you two stories. So I was living in New York for 10 years, and a friend of mine was a Chinese. They had a Chinese restaurant in New Jersey, and he said, Niko, do you want to come and listen to Hillary Clinton campaign? Because she's coming to my parents' restaurant because it's a huge community of Chinese, and she's going to pitch to Chinese community in New Jersey how she should become a president. I was like, oh, it's going to be fun. I'll see Hillary in person. I'll see how this thing works, campaigning and so on. So I arrived at this Chinese restaurant, and I see the first thing, I see the table, and I see a coffee cup, Hillary Clinton, I don't know what was the year at that time, Hillary Clinton, $10. But this was all donations. Cup, like pin, $5, t-shirt, $20. If I paid $5,000, I would get a picture with her shaking hands. If I paid $10,000 at night, I could have a dinner with her at like gala dinner and so on. But at the end, like when I was looking through these things, I saw that these were donations. So I was basically donating to her campaign, and in return, I was getting the rewards. I was getting the coffee mug or a t-shirt and so on. So that's basically the whole idea what's happening on Kickstarter as well, right? The first one, here's another story with the Statue of Liberty. So when the French gave the Statue of Liberty to New York didn't really have enough money to put it and build it on the island. So they were like thinking like, okay, what should we do? Like, how are we going to do? What are we going to do with this Statue of Liberty? So they figured it out to make little Statue of Liberty little items and sell it for $1. And these were again donations that went to a fund. And when they raised enough money, they built the whole island and put the Statue of Liberty there. So, and that, I believe it was like 100 years ago or so. So this was already crowdfunding that was happening. So crowdfunding is not a new thing. It's just that the technology enables us to crowdfund from all over the world with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and so on. Okay, so now we go to the other side. We go to the Web3, metaverse, NFTs, and so on. Why? So I first got into blockchain in 2013, but really when I sold the company in 2016, I went to Harvard Business School, and after that I went full-time 100% into blockchain. And why? Is because, again, it's a crowd. It's all about crowd. It's crowdfunding. It's a crowd doing everything crowd. It's decentralized, so it's nothing centralized. Nobody is really deciding. It's like everything, as I was mentioning. It's all about crowd. So I really like that. So to maybe give you what are we actually doing with this blockchain and so on. In my opinion, we are starting to live in 3 different worlds now. So first world, we have this one that we know, physical world, that is run by government, right? They are putting the laws, they are giving us the currency, the identities, and so on. Then now, in the past so many years, we are starting to live in the centralized world or a corporate world it's run by corporations. And now, for about, let's say, 10 years, we're now building the metaverse. It's a completely new world. It's a new world that we're building it from scratch. So in my opinion, we are not replacing, with metaverse and blockchain, we're not replacing this world or the centralized world. We're just making another world there. So that's all of us in the future, we're probably going to live in all 3 worlds simultaneously. Just that some will be more active in this one, others the other ones. So to give you examples, so when I have to identify myself, in the physical world, I get an ID, passport. So I show the government gave me that. In the centralized world or the corporate world, you know, my identity is actually a Twitter handle, Instagram handle, TikTok handle, email address that is probably most likely from Gmail, right? That Gmail gave it to me, and so on. So this is my identity. And most of us actually connected the identities between physical world and centralized world. And now we have decentralized world, the metaverse. Actually, today, our identity is just wallet address. It's you go there, you click few clicks, and you get the wallet address, and this is now your identity. So, and it's your choice that you decide, am I going to connect the wallet and identity with the other two worlds, or I'm going to stay anonymous, right? So most likely what's going to happen is that we're going to have one wallet that's going to be connected with other wallets, and we have many different wallets where nobody will know that it's actually me behind it, right? And also there will be a lot of AI and bots and so on that will also be identity, and they will building their reputation and on-chain traction. The next one, currency. In the physical world, governments give us euros, dollars, and so on, right? They are controlling the currency and they are giving us, and it's perfectly fine, right? Centralized bank, everything they are figuring it out so that everything runs smoothly. In corporate world, we're starting to see now miles, points, and Facebook tried to do their own Libra token. Starbucks will come with their own token. Amazon will come with their own token. So just imagine you will go to, let's say, to Starbucks, buy a cup of coffee, and for that you'll get 10 tokens because you are a loyal customer, and then you'll walk through the street and you will go to a newspaper stand and you'll buy a newspaper, and you'll be able to actually buy it with that tokens because the wallet will just convert it to euros and you'll buy the tokens. So on every step you'll be able to extract a little value that that corporations, the governments, and the decentralized world will give us. And in metaverse right now we have Bitcoin, we have Ether, and we have many different currencies. As you can see then, with the space is the same thing. Right now, in the metaverse, we are really doing Web3 and metaverse, so it's actually lands. And so that eventually in a few years, you'll be able to visit me in my land that I built, and I'll build a house there or whatever I'm gonna do there, and you'll be able to visit me there. Same as today, you can come to my apartment or my office, right? So just to understand that we are starting to live in 3 different worlds. And one more thing, in the corporate world, why I believe that this is an actual world is because a year or 2 years ago, United States president was kicked out of this world, right? They kicked him out of the Twitter, of Facebook, of whatever the accounts they were. They were actually, this corporation were actually strong enough to kick out the president of the United States. So that's, to me, that shows that this is its own world and its own entity. Okay, so Web3 state of mind. So what is actually Web3? So, you know, in 90s, we saw the website that you can only read, right? Then in 2000s, Facebooks and so on came, and blogs and things that you can actually also come to the page and start writing and like interacting with it, right? So it was read, write. Now with the blockchain, you can actually read, write, and own things, right? So on Facebook, who owns all our data? It's Facebook. In the Web3 Facebook is actually you, all of us are going to own all our data, everything that we are doing this. And if a company comes and says, oh, I want to do whatever with this data, it's me that decides, am I giving you this data or not, how much I want for this data, and so on, right? So is that the next, and so why I'm saying this is because when you're starting to think about crowdfunding, so on Kickstarter, you have to give some incentives, right? You have to give a unique value proposition why people will buy your product. Well, in the Web3, it's basically all of these, but also one value happens is that earlier you become my supporter, more credibility you're giving it to me, right? So first 100 backers or first 100 followers are more important to me than the next 1,000, right? Because they really gave me the credibility. So this actually, here is a value, right? So in Web3, I can already reward that. I would say like the first 100 will get extra something. We'll get a token, we'll get a share, we'll get an extra something from the product and so on, right? And then down the road, I can do this. So it's already creating a value. So now, the next frontier for me, for the web, in my opinion, is the we're approaching the web, whatever you want to call it, immerse. So that's the next frontier that we're doing. Now we can own it, we can do whatever we want with the web, and the next thing is like we're actually entering inside the web, inside the internet. And this is the metaverse, the augmented reality, and so on. So in my opinion, this is the next thing. So before we go to that, NFTs. So how many people know what is MP3? Right? Of course, everyone knows. How many people hate MP3? You hate it? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, but in my opinion, NFTs are like MP3s, right? In 2000s, when we all started to use LimeWire and Netscape, or what is the other one? LimeWire and Kazaa and so on, right? We're all downloading MP3s, right? Really just to listen to music, right? But we're all talking about MP3s. Today, we're all listening constantly MP3s, but nobody's referring to them MP3s. On the bottom, the technology is still MP3, just that I'm listening it on the Spotify. NFTs is the same thing. Today, we're all talking about NFT this, NFT that. In 5 years, we're all going to use NFTs, but nobody will talk about NFTs. You're just going to say, oh, I have this photo, I have this certificate, I have this video, I have this song, and so on. But on the bottom will be NFTs. So NFTs really started in 2016-17 with CryptoPunks. This one here, 10,000. And what really is happening now with NFTs is that first use cases of NFTs that we see is the PFPs, proof of photo, or proof of profile photo, right? So it's really like I buy a CryptoPunk, I put it as my profile. So this is now my profile on the Web3 or in the metaverse, right? The next thing that we're doing is now we are buying NFTs with the usernames. So I bought my username Klanšek.eth, and this could be my username, could be my domain, could be instead of the number of wallet, could be my wallet address. So if you want to send me some money or you want to interact with me, instead of writing the whole wallet, you just type Klanšek.eth. Again, this is an NFT that I can sell it or trade it. The next thing for the NFTs will be avatars, lands, items, objects in the metaverse, augmented reality items, and also digital and physical things, right? So Nike is doing this really well right now with Clone X. So I have a Clone X. It's not here, but it's one of the profiles. So because I have that, I can now forge or mint an NFT with a Nike shoe. But because I have that NFT Nike shoe in the digital world that I can put it on my avatar, in the real world, I can come to their website, log in with my wallet, and I get access to a real one, to real shoes now, that are only like 1,000 of them. So I can actually buy the real shoes too, not just have the digital one. So it's called forging, right? So this is now the next steps for the NFTs that you'll see. Now, since we are crowdfunding and maybe somebody is thinking about launching an NFT project, I'll explain you the latest thing, which probably next week will be not so much latest thing, because in NFT space, literally every week is something new. So how to actually launch an NFT project. So the whole community and everything, it's happening on Twitter and Discord. So this is where you have to start, Twitter and Discord. You have to build a community. Second thing is you go on premint.xyz, and this is really a raffle. So you say that you'll do a 10,000 NFTs and you'll do the raffle. So everybody can sign up, and you tell them like, you have to like my Twitter, follow my Twitter on Discord, and connect your wallet. And then at this date, we will do a raffle, and we will we'll pick 10,000 people that will give them the NFT. Next thing is then the secondary market, where people can then actually go there, connect the wallet, and start selling or start trading the NFTs. What's happening right now? For the past year and a half, you were doing this, but at the mint point, when you started to offer it for the first time, NFTs, you were selling them. So you say, okay, the price is 100 euros. But today, because of the bear market and so on, what's happening, and more companies and corporations actually, they are doing free mint, meaning that they are saying like this, we will pick the winners who's going to get this NFT, but we'll offer it for free. The only thing you have to do is mint it and pay for the gas fee on the blockchain, which is 1 or 2 euros, and then you get this NFT. And then on the secondary market, I can actually start trading. So I'll give you one example. Digi Daikako, it's a company that got 200 million investment. They are doing a game. So they 2,000 of these NFTs, they free minted, they gave it for free. And then they started to trade on the secondary market, on OpenSea. On the secondary market, it reached the price of 20 ethers. This is about like $40,000. But the guys who were early on, they got it for free. So this is now the way for the projects, corporations, companies to onboard the first users and to get the first users. Basically, you give them the thing for free, and now they can use that. For example, in that case was the avatars, right? They gave them the avatars for free, but because they were limited and only 2,000, and they are unlocking many different things in that game, they reach a price of 40,000 per avatar. And the way they're also making money in here is that they are writing into a smart contract 10% royalties. So every time somebody buys an NFT on the secondary market, the creator gets 10%. So, you know, in the past, if I was an artist, I painted a painting, sold it to a gallery, and I get, like, let's say 1,000 euros. Gallery then sold it to a collector for 100,000 euros. Me as an artist, I have nothing from there. Only thing I have is 1,000 euros, right? But now with the NFTs, as a creator, I can actually earn constantly, all the time. So I sold it for 1,000, I get 1,000. Then they sold it for 100,000 because I put in the smart contract 10%, I'm getting 10,000 from this sale. And then every time a sale happens, I get 10%, right? So this is a great way to support the artist and to, you know, to give them the option to continue to earn from their work and to create more. All right. So metaverse. So you probably all heard about Meta and the Facebook and the metaverse. This is just one of the metaverse. The way I see metaverses are like TV channels. We'll be able to flip the TV channels. We'll be able to flip from one metaverse to another. So Facebook and their Oculus and own metaverse is just one channel. It's very centralized, very controlled by Facebook, and so on. So if we'll decide to go in there, sure, cool, no problem, we'll go there. But we also have options now that are very decentralized, and you can own every piece of it yourself. All the data, everything, username, avatar, land, objects, games, everything, you can own it there and trade it. So these are some of the metaverses that are existing today. And for example, Decentraland, it's 10,000 lands that are owned by regular people like us. So, and inside those lands are now starting to build games and entertainment and so on. So it's really decentralized, it's really crowd-based projects that are happening now. The main use cases right now in the metaverse, and these use cases that we are seeing here, they're all virtual reality. Virtual reality is where I put glasses on and I go to a new reality. I don't see anything here, right? So they are mostly games, entertainment, productivity, socializing, things like that. Down the road, we'll see more and more different use cases. Okay, the way to access this right at the moment is through VR headset like Oculus, smartphones, or computer browsers. So today, Oculus already have 15 million users. So already 15 million people are inside these metaverses. They're already doing this thing. In my opinion is that the past 2 years, we are actually living a poor man's metaverse. Okay, we're all remote, and we're all like maybe using a Zoom or Google Meet or FaceTime and so on. But you know, this was just the glimpse of like when the metaverse comes, that we can be actually very more connected in much better way. Not saying that this is going to be all our time. It's just going to be that in 24 hours, some of that times, instead of watching TV or doing something things, we will cut out and have the metaverse thing in there, right? So that next year, also another thing that I believe that this is probably the last year that we are living a completely analog life. In next year, Apple is probably gonna come out with augmented reality glasses, which means that I'll put my Ray-Bans or whatever sunglasses on, and in the glasses I'll be able to see the world like this, but on top of that will be a digital world. It will be the metaverse. I'll be flipping things. So this is now like smartphones that we're walking around with them. They make us more smart and more connected, and there are many different things that are good about having smartphones with us. Of course, there are also bad things. It's always with everything. Well, when we're going to put augmented reality glasses on, it's going to be the same thing. You know, we'll be the extra thing that we'll get added on, that we will like think back and say like, how did we live without it? Okay, so this is happening next year, in my opinion. Okay. So this is my investment thesis, my personal investment thesis. I have 2 daughters, 1 and 3 years old. In 15 years, they're gonna be 18 and 16. My goal is to be still the cool dad, okay? So when they're 18 and they come to me and they say, Dad, would you give me that amazing thing from the wallet that you have because I go to the party, right? So I want to be the cool dad that they come and ask me for that. So what does this mean? In my opinion, when they're going to go to the party, they're just going to have a black t-shirt on, whatever, like nothing special. But when they put the augmented reality glasses on, they'll have amazing digital dress. This is actually a digital dress that was sold for $9,500. Right? This is like if you put the glasses up, she doesn't have this dress. So just imagine now all the people that we will put on, and we can have many different things on it. And this is all NFTs, right? So this is in my opinion, the future, and also my personal investment thesis, collecting amazing items like this. So when they're 18, they come to me as like, Dad, give me this dress because I'm going to the party, right? So that's this. Another thing, if you really want to see what is the future and how the future looks like, just watch this movie. It's Ready Player One. It was directed by Spielberg a few years ago, and it's I think in 2050, and it's basically explaining, you'll see what is the blockchain, how the token is going to work, how the NFT is going to work, how the metaverse is going to work, and so on. But it's not mentioned in this movie. It's like nobody says anything about blockchain or tokens or metaverse and so on. It's just that it's going to become part of our regular life, and it's going to make it a better life. All right, so that's it about the metaverse. So now we have crowdfunding that we know today. We have the metaverse that is, again, crowd and everything. So if you're launching a project, a physical product or a digital project, it's the same thing. What you need really is 3 things, or I call them ingredient X. So the first one is when you're launching a crowdfunding campaign, again, metaverse or a physical world or centralized world, you have to tell a story. So when I was promoting my electric bike and I started to explain, yeah, my bike has electric bike, has a motor, battery, electronics, sensors, Bluetooth, everything, nobody listened to me. Everybody stopped listening to me when I said a battery right in the beginning. But when I started to tell a story that we want to make cities more bicycle friendly and more people friendly and more eco-friendly and so on, people started to listen, right? And then I said, and by the way, how are we going to do this is by electric bike that will enable people to move around easily and also collect data and give it to officials to make cities more safer, better for cyclists and so on. So really start with a story. Second one is community, as you probably heard many times today about the community. But one is to grow the community, but before that, go and become part of the community. The projects that I meet that want to go on crowdfunding and launch the campaign, I immediately see if they're going to be successful or not. It's when I ask them about community, and they're like, yeah, we are part of this obscure community in the Reddit, and we're like talking all the time in there, and so on. We have so many friends there and so on. I know that it's going to be easy ride for them because they are part of the community. When they come and say like, okay, we did this that is actually for you as a community, it's going to be funded, right? People will come and back it because they understand the community. And then the third one is that maybe a lady was asking at the panel, is like, why would I give you money now if in 4 months you're gonna deliver to me? Totally agree. Money today is more worth than in 4 months. So that's why you have to offer incentives, right? So be the first one, that's an incentive. Get an early bird special, it's like a discount or whatever, it's a special. To give an exclusive add-on only on Kickstarter is a special. In the metaverse, it's like, you're the first one, you're getting more exclusive and so on. It's a special. So that's the incentives, why you get people to back you now and be part of you instead of waiting for you to finish and launch. All right, that's it. So you can connect me on all my centralized world. I'm N Klanšek, so you can find me there on any social network and connect to me. So I always reply, and I'll be happy to connect. So thank you.
Okay, Niko, thank you very much. I think this was very inspirational. Not just inspirational, but I think that we heard a lot of things that are maybe new to some of us, to me. But thank you very much. It's time for Q&A. So anybody has a question? Or shall we move on? Maybe some questions from YouTube comment section. Do we know how we stand? No. Okay, so Niko, now you're free. Thank you so much one more time. Okay, so now the time has come for our last panel today. And of course, what shall we talk about at the end of the day rather than record-breaking campaigns? Of course, for that we have gathered our creme de la creme when it comes to crowdfunding. So let me present to you Mr. Ivan Nauković from Medvedgrad Brewery, Mr. Albert Gajšak from Circuit Mess, and Mrs. Ana Teskera from Cooperative Brewery Burlog. Mirela, of course, again, the floor and the microphone is yours. Do we have our panelists? Yes, okay, please come, Anna. You can sit. I believe that the glasses are clean. Yes, you have the microphone, so you can even choose which color of the seat you want, so yes. Okay. So please, everyone outside, I know you can hear me, don't ignore me, please. Just come back in, and we're going to start in 1 minute. Ivan Nauković from Medvedgrad Brewery, Ana Teskera from Berlog, and of course Niko Klanšek again with us. Mirela, I give you the microphone, so please enjoy yourselves.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Okay, welcome. Yes, Wendy is right. Creme de la creme is here with us, and Niko. You people had the groundbreaking results in your campaigns on 2 different platforms for crowdfunding. And I'm thinking now maybe dealing with beer is the key for success. I don't know if that's true. But of course, I know it's something else, and you're gonna tell me and our audience what's the key of your success, of course. So Anna, maybe for the beginning, maybe you can tell us more about yourself, just in short, Ivane. You can start with it.
Ladies first.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I co-founded the Berlog first cooperative brewery in this region 7 years ago with my friend. It started from some garage, home brewing, making beer at home, and then developed with a crowdfunding campaign. We collected less than 100,000 kuna to really start up the first brewery, but later on, 2 or 3 years later, we had a crowd investing campaign without any platform, just strictly with Facebook and our cooperative model, which we piloted also. I think nobody in Croatia did something similar with cooperative investment. So we were the first ones testing the model, and now, well, a few years later, I can safely say it works good for us. We make plenty of beers. It's in Zadar, coastal city, and we have like 3 all-time beers and many experimental ones, and we are now 8 employees and more than 100 members of cooperative, which are also investors, and this is like short.
Okay, that sounds like beer heaven. Thank you, Anna. Ivan, what about your story, short story?
Yes, we come from the brewing family. Medvedgrad, and I'm in the business with my brothers. We have 4 brothers. I'm the oldest one, and it was the business of pubs until 2013. We were brewing the beer only for our pubs, for our pivnice, and after that we started bottling and distributing the beer all around Croatia, and we were growing, and we then needed some help. And then in end of 2017, we had a crowdfunding campaign for building the new brewery, and here we are.
Okay, thank you, Niko.
Yes, hello. Yeah. Since I'm sitting here in the seat of Albert, I can maybe tell a story of Albert. Okay, how we met.
Nice idea.
So. He was 18 years old. He reached out to me because, as you probably hear today, Kickstarter is not available in Croatia. He heard that I'm the guy to help, so he reached out to me, and we met. We talked about. Then actually we met in person in Maribor at some conference, and I immediately felt the energy, because he was super passionate about the project. He was into the community and so on, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna launch it right now," and it was May, I think, or something like this. And literally during his Kickstarter, first Kickstarter campaign, he was doing how do you call Matura in Matura. Yeah, he was doing Matura, okay? Finishing high school, doing Matura. Yeah, he was like, I mean, I knew that he's the real deal. So, and then the Kickstarter campaign was successful. He was super passionate about, and I think the first campaign he actually didn't do any advertising and so on. He did everything through the community and PR and so on. It was actually the other campaigns, the next campaigns, that he started to do these things as well.
Okay, thank you, Niko. You're going to reveal us more details then later on about his campaign. He launched 4 campaigns, if I'm not wrong. Okay, Anna, you are a co-founder of Cooperative Brewery, a small, independent and socially responsible collective dedicated to craft beer, as we heard that, and your business model is cooperative model. We didn't hear that today, so maybe you can explain to us the structure of it and then about the campaign that led you just in 2 days to the 250,000 kunas. Right?
Yeah, all in all, I think we collected something like 150k euro during a 1 month period, and it was invested in equipment for making beer. So how it started is I was doing a research on how to do crowd investing or how to crowd whatever, crowdsource, crowd invest, crowd collect, how to use this model that's good enough for us as a cooperative. And then I was kind of tired of listening from everybody else from the past, like my parents, and I mean, they were always, how to say, some kind of leaders in entrepreneurship for me, because they were doing private business always. But when it came to cooperatives, they were like a little bit suspicious. I think it's just the old generation. You know, they have their experiences, which I can't blame. They have something obviously negative from before, but I was just tired from listening from other people that are cooperatives. Oh, that's so communistic, this is so like this. And I was kind of, okay, let me see what is there out there in Europe. So I decided not to research into the past, I will research into the future, so to say. And I was Googling in the world, I don't know, in Ireland, in USA, wherever, you know, how many cooperative breweries you have, what they do, how they have their models. So I discovered, wow, cooperatives are really something big deal. Say in Spain, the biggest cooperative is Mondragon, and they employ most, and they have the most, hold the most economy in their region, and so on and so on. And they had something really that pushed development forward. They had something in economy, some big impact, you know. So I was first, this was the first thing that I popped to. And then I found out that other cooperative breweries, they usually let you become a member by giving, I don't know, 100 euros, 200 euros, and then you get a badge, and this is it. For me, it was not enough. I wanted a true community to build with, like the ones we already had, like my brother, my sister, and you know, you had 10 people. And actually, we decided not to use any Thunderbeam or other platforms for doing it, but to just announce on Facebook, hey guys, we are opening our doors. You can become a member of our cooperative by giving us at least 1,000 euro, and we put a maximum of 10,000 euro. And everything between, we divided by some sort of steps. For one step, you get something like 1 unit of profit distribution. The next step, when you pass, you get 2 units, and so on. And this is the only thing behind our campaign. We just communicated this, and more than 100 people came over.
Okay, that sounds nice. Ivan, Medvedgrad Brewery campaign was one of the first campaigns on the Thunderbeam. We heard that today, and which means that your backers became investors in your company. How did you, and of course your family, I'm saying this because you have been running a family business, how you made that decision to go with a Thunderbeam and how the process went?
We couldn't expand at the current location of the brewery anymore, so we had to find another location, and there was this building which we planned to lease. And then as we get some funds during the time, maybe build the new brewery step by step. It would be very hard and very slow. We couldn't get the bank loan because it was the big loan that we would need to get, and we had some loans before. So we actually didn't have any faster way to build that brewery. And then I was speaking with a friend who, about everything, and he told me that he heard about this new startup, because Frane was startup at the time, and that he knows the guy who is running the startup branch in Zagreb. And he explained a little bit, because it's quite hard to explain what that actually is, quickly. So he told me, go there with him, meet with him, and have a coffee. And I went there with my brother, and I mean, this is Estonian startup, which maybe different from other crowdfunding platforms, because they invest in equity, and they became the investors become the true investors, the part of your company through equity, and it is based internationally, and we didn't know how much money we could get and whether we have any possibility of success through Funderbeam, and there was a lot of questions, a lot of question marks whether that could work. But especially the big one was how to introduce this to our parents who started the company, and how to tell them that we're going to try to find funds in all the world, and maybe have some investors from Asia and America and Africa. And it was all very fictional at the time. And then I don't know why we decided that it was the beginning of just after the summer, and we decided actually just somewhere around this period. And I don't know why, but we set our goal that we need to finish it at the end of the year. So it was 2 months of, extreme period of 2 months, where we first found the main investor, the lead investor, and arranged all the details with him, and then made the campaign. I think we had presentation of the campaign at the St. Nicholas at the beginning of December for journalists and for investors. And then we had 3 weeks to raise 1 million euros, and I think we closed it after 9 days. We raised it in 9 days, and then we closed it, and then after legal paperwork, the funds were on our account maybe 2 weeks after that. So it was like a roller coaster, but yeah.
I'm wondering what did your parents said?
Right now, if I go back and think that we should do it again and explain that story to them again, even now I would be sure they would say no. But we are here, they said yes, and they weren't involved in any of the negotiating. We were just going out and discussing it with lawyers and with investors. I mean, we are in the business and we could do that, but this is the company my father started, and the origins of his entrepreneurship started 40 years ago. And that time Vedran was 23 years old, and I don't know, somehow it worked. Story was good, and he said, maybe he said, and they said, mother and father, that we have nothing to lose. So.
Okay, nice. Niko, I'm gonna ask you about Albert's campaign, the last one. It's Batmobile Kickstarter campaign. Can you reveal us some details how that went?
Yeah. So maybe one thing for everyone who wants to see which agencies and which people are other campaigns working with, the really cool or neat thing is that you go on their Kickstarter profile, Kickstarter page, project page. You click on their profile, it opens up, and then you'll see a list of all the agencies and all the people that are collaborating on the project. So I believe that on this project, Albert had an interesting idea that he put many different agencies together on this project in the beginning and was testing them who's going to perform better, right? So we had Chandler from BackerKit, so he used BackerKit, he used Jalop with a Yelop. Then I think he was using some other some other agencies. And of course, after a few days, he realized that it's actually another good idea because they are competing against each other by paying ads on Facebook for the same target, right? So about 2-3 days after, he went just with one campaign. Not sure, it was a BackerKit or Jalop, so one of those things. Yeah. So that maybe another thing that he was doing really well for about a year and a half now. Most of the Kickstarter campaigns, they're starting to do this way, that you have a landing page, you collect an email saying like, sign up so you'll find out when you launch and you get whatever discount and so on. The conversion rate from the email to a backer is about 2 to 5%. But you don't know this, what is it, 2 or 5% until you launch the campaign and you see how many people come and back it, right? So what now Kickstarter campaign started to do, they started to collect reservations. So for $1, you can actually reserve a spot so you get this price guaranteed, right? But really why you're collecting this $1 or $10, whatever, is to see how quality these emails really are. At what % are they going to convert? So Albert was doing this as that. So you came on their landing page, give them an email, then they send you, then the next thank you page for subscribing was, by the way, we have for the guaranteed price of $69 if you reserve it now for $1. Right? So, and then he was basically able to see what's going to be a conversion rate, because from the reservation to a backer, it's pretty much 100% conversion rate. So, yeah, he was doing that.
I'm wondering, why did he choose Kickstarter? Because it's not approachable in Croatia. How did he solve that problem?
Yeah, so basically benefits of, let's talk about now just Kickstarter. Why would you want to launch on Kickstarter? Well, it's, in my opinion, if you look at through the financial prism, it's really the on average, the 30% of all the funds that you raise on Kickstarter come organically from Kickstarter, meaning that somebody will be looking on the projects, will see your project, click on it and back it. That's 30%. It's basically for free, right? Just because you're on Kickstarter. If you're doing it on your own landing page and you're collecting pre-orders, you have to bring 100% of all the funding. You have to bring people to there to back you, right? But on Kickstarter, you get around 30%. Then, as probably, I think I did talk to Albert about this, but he was featured on the homepage of Kickstarter, and he was also featured on one of the newsletters, I believe, because I connected him with Kickstarter. So that actually then helps to get closer to 50% of all the funds that you collect coming organically from Kickstarter. So it means that's no cost of advertising, right, that you get. So that's like why most of the project would decide to go on Kickstarter.
Okay, thank you. Ivan, did you have support from the platform Funderbeam? I mean, and one really important thing when we are touching on the subject of Funderbeam is having an investor before the campaign is launched, right?
Yes. I think from Funderbeam, maybe from all the funds, it was maybe 10% from Funderbeam. Maybe 20 or 30% of the investors, but 10% of the funds. The point of Funderbeam is to have the lead investor and to arrange the lead investor before you start the campaign. And the reason, I think the rule is that it has to be 10 or 20% of the whole amount. It has to come through lead investor. And the role of the lead investor is to arrange all the details with you, because it's very complicated. It's basically what Funderbeam does to the LTD company is like making it like a public company, that you can sell your shares and buy the new ones. So it has, so the lead investor, first you arrange everything with him or her, and then all other investors invest because they know that investor who has a reputation arranged all the details with you. So that means that he puts his own money, and his role is to make it as attractive as possible for other investors. You can get lead investor to be your friend or some person you know, and arrange really like small returns on the investment, but then probably you wouldn't get other people to invest. So that system makes it very, very efficient.
Okay. Anna, can you tell us more about pros and cons of cooperative society, and I mean the campaign that you made?
Okay. I don't believe cooperatives are forever business. It could be, but I don't think everybody is into such thing, because there is there is a democracy in decision making. So, which means no matter how much money you invest in a certain cooperative, you always have the same vote. So if you are 1 out of 100, you are 1 vote in 100, right? Once a year when we have an assembly, it's usually online, so we vote for. Usually we have boards. I'm a CEO, and then we have a board. And as a board, we bring a strategy for the next year. We propose, and then all members vote yes or no, right? So this is the democracy that some people dislike, but for everybody else, it's really something good to participate, because in this way you also do networking, you learn, you actually you're involved in the process. So it's also pro and con for the model. On the other hand, financially, I would say pro is the same amount of money you put in, you will get back any time when you want to leave. So it doesn't matter for what you need to repair your teeth or something, or you want to go to vacation. You need money. Okay, you ask to exit the cooperative, you get the money back. There is, security reasons, rules that allow us to postpone this payoff for 3 years maximum. So we have some sort of our method how to do it, but basically, usually it's only one person that sometimes really need funds, and then it's no problem to pay it off. But if many people would want to live at the same time, it would be a little bit longer, right? But there are not so many companies that you can invest in with such high security or low risk, So it's low risk and low profit back, or at least it's not paying off fast. So we plan to have, like, after 5 years, and now we are already 6 years old, to have maybe first profit, dividends and so on.
Okay, thank you. Niko, what would you say is the most important or one of the important things in preparing the campaign?
Yeah, so I always say it's like three steps, right? So before, during, and after campaign. So in the before campaign, first, of course, it's important that you have your prototype or whatever you're doing kind of ready. So further you bring it to be able to produce it, better it is. Second thing is you prepare all the marketing materials, so Kickstarter page and landing page and video and so on. What I see usually this pre-launch time usually takes about 2 to 3 months, and most of the time usually spent on making a video. But my opinion is that video shouldn't be that much time to be spent, right? So, and then the third one that is actually the most important is growing the community, right? So usually it's between 8 and 12 weeks that your pre-launch campaign should last, and have a landing page and really start with the Facebook and Instagram ads, bring people to the landing page and start testing it's called UPS, the unique value proposition, UVP. So to see what is that people want on your project, what are they interested in. So the first 2 weeks you're just like checking, like, is your thesis, do they also people agree with that, right? Do people actually want this for the same reasons as you believe? And then after 2 or 3 weeks, you will probably get the feedback. You'll see, we'll pivot it, change it, and so on. And then when you figure it out, when you find the right unique value proposition and find the right channel, then you just go. And you know exactly how many emails you need to collect. Because as I said before, conversion rate is between 2 and 5%. So you calculate what is the goal on Kickstarter, how much is your average reward, how many backers you need. You divide this by 2 to 5%, and you can figure out how many emails you need. So you don't launch before you get that number.
Yeah, Albert would agree with you, I think, in one thing that he said the most important thing is to talk about your own idea and show it to the world. So if he were here, he would agree with you. Ivan, what would you emphasize that was the key factor in your campaign of success?
Yeah, first I just want to say if I heard all of this before, we probably wouldn't go and start the campaign, because we didn't have any crowdfunding experience except me or someone, you know, backing some other projects. So it was all, I mean, we did video when they said, yeah, and you have to have a video as well for the start, and then we did video in literally 3 days. And I was writing the text one day, the next day the guys came, they shot a video, and the third day we had it. So everything was so super quick, and I mean there was a lot of legal stuff, there was a lot of financial stuff about investment, there was a lot of marketing and PR. And there was a lot of talking to, I think I spoke to like maybe 50, 60, 70 people in person, explaining them what Funderbeam is, how does it work, what to do, what to expect. And so what was and especially because Funderbeam is focused mostly on startups, and we were established company and brand, but I think our new start through this new brewery and everything that it presented had some feeling about like it's startup. So what was the success? How did we get to the success? I don't know. I think it helped because we were established brand. So when we started communicating the message and the project through only through our Facebook platform, which had 70 or 80,000 people then. And through all communication and PR, I think we managed to emit our message really wide very soon. And everyone wanted to be the part of this new thing that's going to happen. And so I think that was our base of fans and brand awareness was the success factor.
Nice. Anna, what about you?
I can also confirm about Medvedgrad. It's totally brand. You know, everybody knows about Medvedgrad. It's 20 years old. It was back then, and why not being a part of such a big? For us, okay, we are much younger. We were almost 5 years old when we crowd invest, maybe 4. We had 5,000 people on Facebook. So I don't know. We didn't know what will happen after we announced, okay, you can become a member. But I did it in following every rule of crowdfunding, which means first you find first backers, right? Early adopters, something. Okay, then I collected like 10 people and asked, can you read this PDF and tell me what you think? And they were like, okay, maybe add these rules. Okay, after 2 more, I found out how to repair it, and then I made a new round of 5 people, and then I discovered this is working. So after that, I never changed anything. I just let it go, and then I started to anti-pitch. So not to pitch people, because everybody was like, oh, it's so nice. Many who comes to an interview, then he's already interested. And then I just needed to see if there is any reason not to become a member, because for us it's very important, because people are included in decision making, and I don't want risky money. I don't want somebody to invest if it's your last money, because I don't have any benefit from this. You can really need it very soon. And then it turned out that people liked this very, very, very transparent reporting and pitching in general. So I think transparency is one of our core values in Berlog, and it's very clear. We are totally clear about it. And it was also first such project. And women making beer. We had many side perks in general that are interesting to people, but basically transparency and people-driven company is always a perk, and then you have something new like a crowd brewery with cooperative crowd investing. Everything was all together was kind of very easy to communicate and to get people.
I believe that was also a plus for media. They were writing about you.
Yeah, but I can also say when people are talking about, oh, but you were the first who did it, like, maybe you don't have to always be the first one. It's not easy to be the first one. Then you have to break all the ice, you know. They were probably breaking many ices with brewing, you know, with laws and many things, and then we stepped in later. So with crowdfunding also, we were one of the first, I don't know how many companies to crowdfund in Croatia, and later to crowd invest, but with cooperative model, I still have to explain to people what cooperative is, why do we do this, what does it mean, but it becomes much easier with time. It's easy to explain. You get in, when you get out, you get the money back. As long as you are in, we are happy, you are happy, you learn, we create, we do something good for society, for community in Zadar, we employ 8 people. It's very fun, you can learn something. And our cooperative member just invented a machine that is automatic beer dispenser that can be used for festivals. And so I got him connected to some conferences and other people from cooperative. He will most probably get some invests from this community and so on. So you can find your perk if you are into, you know, eager to really try and talk to people.
Nice. Okay, Niko. The day that campaign, the Batmobile campaign launched, they had a problem. Meta was in big problems. Do you know about that? Sure. Facebook was down, WhatsApp was down, everything was in problem. So can you tell us how did they use the channels and all of that before the period before the campaign was launched? It was a bit. I thought that you know this.
I didn't know that.
Knew this. Okay.
I didn't know that, but I know something else.
Oh, tell us everything.
Yeah, is that so? That was their 4th campaign. Okay, so on Kickstarter, what you can do is when you have already a first campaign, let's say, and then you're launching a 2nd campaign, you can actually send an update, a message to everyone from the 1st campaign that you're launching the 2nd campaign, right? So they were quite aggressive with that. So they were really like sending it to all the 3 other campaigns. They were sending it and so on. And I believe that there was something with the messages that when Albert was talking to me and I look at it, to me it didn't, you know, everything was making sense, right? Because I know Albert and I know that he has 3 other campaigns and the way how it works, right? But from Kickstarter side, you know, somebody was there who probably didn't know that, you know, Albert already have 3 campaigns and so on, right? So they were like already telling him like, we're going to cancel your campaign if you know, because you are sending out messages pretending like you are that campaign launching on this campaign and so on. Like, you know, they